And welcome to this week's episode of Business Party Podcast. As you can see, I'm all by myself today. Biz is on assignment, creating the new John Cena. Mama J will be actually joining us in a little while. I did start early today because we are going to speak about the national debate, but I wanted to try to get a couple things out of the way, kind of. I wanted to talk about, but I'm really not by myself. I lied. I am joined by the one, the only, Drunken Senpai. Yay!
Hey, what's up? I actually put in the Rumble part for this, ladies and gentlemen. I am Drunken Senpai. I am the host of Voice of the People and half co-host with Troublemaker Davey here for Off Label. As a matter of fact, we'll go ahead with that. Welcome to the Off Label Podcast, your weekly dose of sanity in an insane world. This time, you're getting a double dose of sanity. But yeah,
you remembered it. You remembered it this time.
I did. The closing? No, probably not. It's been a while, but yeah, I mean, the closing I gotta shorten up somehow, but we'll figure it out. Anyway,
Yeah.
what's going on, man?
Not much. Like I said, I wanted to start early. There's a couple things I wanted to touch on. I wanted to touch on the hearing of the anti-Semitic remarks by the three professors today. I wanted to get to that a little bit before we start. There's 23 minutes until the debate begins. But yeah. So I wanted to kind of, let me see if I can get to, I always forget where things are on here. Oh, but can I? Okay. So let's see. Is it? Did I put it here? Did I send it to us?
I don't know.
Well, that was the Dick Durbin one. Did I not send it in here? Son of a biscuit. I don't know. I'm very awful at some of this stuff. This is why Biz and them always take care of most of it.
Well, I can't do anything because all I see is private chat and comments.
Where did you go? There you are. Okay. Oh no, here it goes. All right. So yeah. So I did not. I sent it on Instagram. What a dope. I can be dumb sometimes. I really can. We all know this, folks. We all know this. Let's see if Portnoy put it, because I took it from Portnoy. The one, the only Dave Portnoy. And let's see. Dave, let's see if he put it on his Twitter account, because it'd be a lot easier because I can actually stop it on there. But the anti-Semitism is it's funny because it depends on who you are, is whether or not you could be anti-Semitic or not. Isn't that great?
I'm sorry, say what?
I said, depends on who you are. You're allowed to be anti-Semitic and then make excuses about your anti-Semitism. And it's funny. It's funny because, you know, the same schools that'll sit there and tell you can't say certain things, you can't have a certain view and be allowed to, you know, say certain things, are the same universities right now that are saying this, basically. But let's hit the clip, shall we, folks? Share screen. I forgot how to do this. Let's share this. And let's do this.
Harvard receives funding from foreign entities and governments which support its Middle East Studies Department, correct?
We receive funding from a variety of sources because we have alumni from all over the world.
But that is correct, right? The Middle Eastern Studies Department?
We receive funding from
It's
various
a yes
sources.
or no. Are you not aware where the Middle Eastern Studies Department receives funding?
We receive funding from
I
various
am asking
sources.
you a yes or no question. You are under oath in front of the United States Congress. You are giving lip service provided your attorneys. It's a yes or no question. Harvard receives funding from foreign entities and governments which support its Middle Eastern Studies Department, correct?
We have alumni all over the world, and we benefit
So the
from
answer is
their
correct.
difference in their
Yes?
philanthropy.
Yes? The answer is correct?
We receive support from
And
our
that's
alumni from all over the
and that
world,
support-
from individuals.
And what amount of support is that reported to the federal government?
I'd have to actually look at our filings.
You don't know? As the president of the university, you don't know?
Not that particular number.
It's
No, I don't.
$1.5 billion over the past 3 years. Are you
Good
aware of that?
Lord.
I don't know if that is the correct number, but that's the number you've shared.
Has Harvard reported all
Regular
of the
order.
federal? Oh, my time.
Jesus, that lady looks like she's about to die in Feinstein. What the heck? How
That's
old
Miss
is that
Fox.
woman?
Dude, she is
Holy-
pushing right around 90. Yes.
That woman used the N-word non-apologetically. That's how fucking old she is. Holy shit. That's not the clip I wanted to show, but I mean, it worked out anyway. They get funding from the Middle East, and once again, people just keep going. I'll have to look into that. You don't know?
They always do.
It's always well, we don't exactly know where it's from or, anything like that.
It's always like that, with every one of these hearings and everything. Like, I do this on Voice of the People channel all the time. I mean, with every single one of these hearings, if something's not to their benefit, they will always talk in circles like that. Every single time, it never fails.
But it's funny because the Congress and all them do it too. They all do the
Oh, yeah.
same thing, and
Oh, yeah, they do.
it sucks. I mean, listen, they're a quote unquote private entity, so they don't really have to, I guess, divulge that information. But when a congressman's sitting up there and trying to tell you, when they're asking the federal government what this money and what that money's going for, and they don't answer the question, or they say, "I'll get back to you," and then we never hear about it again.
No, we definitely won't ever hear about it again.
I can't believe I can't find where that is. I don't know. Profile.
You'd think you would have it brought up beforehand, right?
Listen, don't start with me, sir. Don't you dare. I was busy doing nothing. I'm not as prepared as you. This is why I'm like, hey, you want to do this? Because I'm not prepared. I'm the wiener joke guy.
I didn't follow anything today. I felt like shit first thing this morning. I didn't even go to work today.
No.
It was just like, nah, I was dead. I couldn't. I was feeling sick. I had a little bit of a fever, and I was just like, nah, this ain't gonna happen.
Dude, I had off today for the first time in a while. It was just nice to not do anything. Like I've been going to therapy, for the last couple months, and it's been on like the Wednesday, supposedly my day off, but I don't get day off. And finally, my therapist looked at me the other day and she goes, "Do you think you still need therapy?" And I go, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm cured." And I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to say that, but like, do you still think you need it?" And I was like, I guess not. I guess I'm in a good place now, and I guess I'm better than I was, So I didn't have to go to therapy today. I just hung out and went a couple places and just relaxed. Let Amanda sleep. She had the whole house to herself today, so it was a nice, relaxing, chill day. I gotta go back to work tomorrow. So, but I found the clip I was looking for. I knew I had it somewhere, but let's see.
At Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
I am asking specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill. So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If the
Yes
speech
or no?
becomes, if the speech
If you misgender somebody at one of these universities, they try and take your livelihood away.
Right.
But if you say to the rivers, to the shores, or whatever the hell they chant,
From the river to the sea.
yeah,
Yeah.
talking about the eradication of Israel, it's contextual. You know, depends on if they're gonna do something about it or they don't do something about it. You know, I accidentally called some woman who's got a fucking voice lower than Barry Manilow or whatever his name is, Barry White. I call her sir, and I can get thrown out of school for that. I can get arrested. I can get thrown out of school. To the rivers, to the sea, up your mother's ass we go. Have a nice day. You can say that how you want. But, you know.
Mother's ass we go.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They just start yelling and chanting and everything like that. And it's just like, what? I saw a little kid bringing a bullhorn. Like, I keep your kids away from this shit, please. Like, there's no need to bring your kids to this. Like, if you want to do this, you want to tell your kids whatever you want to tell them at home, don't bring your kids to this, because you know what's going to happen? Something's going to happen to your kid, and then all of a sudden, it's just, you know, now you can use it. Look at what they did to the children. Don't bring your children to this to these things. Either side. I don't care. Just leave your kids at home, or you know, find someone to babysit it for your kids. Don't bring your kids to these stupid things.
Well, people are going to do that anyway because they're shitty parents.
Yeah,
it is whatever it is with that. There is a with a whole little anti-Semitic shit. I find it incredibly. It's not funny, but it's just interesting to see that, you know, people like Jerry Nadler, who always insults people, he always talks bad about people, gets offended when somebody brings up something about the Jewish community. It's not even anti-Semitic if you just question something, you know, like, why are there so many Jews within our government? Somehow that's anti-Semitic, but he can sit there and say the worst things about the people he represents, the people of the United States, and somehow that's okay. You know, it's the same with Chuck Schumer as well. Chuck Schumer does the same thing. I mean, they insult the American people time and time and time and time again, and somehow that's fine. But then the moment you say anything about them, and now it's like the worst thing ever, you know. And it's just like the, you know, before we did this show, I was on the Voice of the People. We were going through you know, a hearing about protecting women's sports, and what was her name? Miss Lee. Miss Lee was talking about how they she said it was like trans in her opening comments. She's like, I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot of transphobic bigotry and blah 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 blah. And she was staring right at Riley Gaines as she was saying this. And Riley Gaines, you know, she gives her opening speech at the end of it, or at the end, right at the end of her speech, she's just like, well, if I'm transphobic, then I find you very misogynistic. And she and Jackson, or not Jackson Lee, but Lee, I forget her first name, but she's just like, wasn't even paying attention because the camera's looking at her and she's just sitting there playing on her phone. And about a minute later, she's like, I want her words removed from the record and everything. And Riley's just like, wait, how can you call me transphobic, but I can't call you misogynist? And they're like, no. And of course, you know, Miss Lee removed her comment or her objection for it and everything like that. But I was just like, this is the dumbest shit. You know, it's a saying I use. This is your tax dollars at work. Are you happy with this representation? And the answer I always come up with is no, I'm not. Because these people can insult you, they can say the worst things about you, they can go after you, but the moment you say anything about them, they get their feelings hurt. They get butthurt about everything. Enough is enough with the dumb shit.
So when you reread like the whole like transcript, does it read like a psychotic girlfriend? Like when she takes away all your stuff and it makes you look like you're the crazy person. So it's just like, you're a bigot. That's not there. Let's take that out. Let's take this out. Let's take that out. And it just looks like, hey, you want to go have sex later? I mean, come on. That's not what I said. I didn't say any of that.
Well, I mean, I don't even know why they try to remove it from the record and everything like that, because these things are done live. You know, the people that watch these things, they're still recorded, they're still known. So why would you remove that from the record? It's not like these videos disappear, you know? It makes no sense.
Well, I always love that, like in a jury trial too, when they're just like, strike that last remark. Jury, forget that. Like, it's fucking Men in Black. Like, they're just gonna come in, like, oh, wait, we forgot all about that. We forgot. Wait a minute. So the guy really just stabbed him and then, ran away, but we're not allowed to remember that he stabbed him and ran away. Like, it never made any sense to me. And people themselves are still gonna remember. That's still gonna sway them into making the decision that they make.
Well, it's just like the Proud Boys trial. They found out that there were actual federal agents and informants in the crowd that were in the Proud Boys themselves that were instigating and everything. And the judge said because the government never gave up their names and affiliations with the government themselves, you can't use that information to sway your judgment in them in any way. I'm sorry, you give me that kind of information. How am I gonna erase that from my brain? Like, that's not gonna be a thing.
And what happens if you do use it? What happens if you do use it? Do they bring you back? Is it a mistrial? Is it like, do they do a do-over?
If you say you're using it, if you mention it in any way where with that thing, they'll actually remove that person from the jury.
I would never say anything. I'd be like, I forgot it. What do you want me to do? Not guilty. How you doing?
Not guilty. Why? Because reasons.
Whatever that guy said, Your Honor, is bullshit. I wore this stupid thing for you. All right, let's go on a little bit more Liz McGill.
All right.
Do that. Add the stage.
Conduct. It can be harassment. Yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment? This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill. I'm going to give you one more opportunity for the world to see your answer. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be harassment.
The answer is yes. And Dr. Gay, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual. Targeted at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric.
And is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer...
What fucking context do you need? Is calling for the eradication of people constitute as bullying and harassment? Well, it depends on the context. Well, if I say maybe not genocide all of them, just a few people that I don't like, maybe that's not considered bullying and harassment. Yeah, it's.
Well, I just love it for the drunken by his name drunk, or could not properly remember if he was smacked. What?
I don't know. Abel's had a couple of too many wines.
No, but it's just, I find it incredibly funny because the motherfuckers that were actually sitting there saying that, if you made any criticism about the Jewish people in any way, like the Jewish community or any Jewish person, you are anti-Semitic, and they would try to ruin your life for it. Now they're just like, we're just going to go back on all that. And we're not, that's not a thing anymore.
He called Trump
because of this Israel Palestine shit.
They called Trump anti-Semitic for 4 years. Meanwhile, his daughter converted to Judaism. His son-in-law is Jewish. His grandkids are Jewish. And they've called him anti-Semitic. Yet this, calling for the genocide of a people, they're going, it depends on the this should show you how full of shit these people are. These people are just entirely stop sending your kids to college. Stop sending your kids to school. Just homeschool your kids. I know everybody can afford that, right?
I mean, it's actually cheaper than it is for public school, or as far as college goes. I'm going to be honest with you, as somebody who's a college graduate, it would be cheaper to send them to a trade school, and they would make more money.
Yeah, absolutely. They're dying for plumbers, electricians, everything. What is welders? Welders are starting off at 6 figures now, and then underwater welders are way more in there.
Yeah, but I mean, welding does take some skill, as far as that goes and everything like that. So it's a better trade altogether because nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to be like influencers and things now, and I mean, we're just doing this just to have some fun, and let people know some things. It's not like we want to make it something. If I could sit here and just bring these committee hearings all day long, that would be great. But I'm not trying to make that a job, A
bachelor's in computer science that I don't use. Yeah.
I got my bachelor's in info tech, and I don't use it. Kind of do, but my job doesn't need it. Like I actually still have to remember the things for these things. I mean, it does kind of play into the job, but it's not required for my job.
It's just it gets angering when you just see this day in and day out, and you watch all these hearings anyway, and for you to have to sit there and listen to these people babble about nonsense and bullshit and not actually try to fix.
Oh God,
this right here, to be honest with you, is bullshit. This is bullshit. This just makes these people look stupid, and it shows people that colleges are just bastions of dummies, but this is not what we should be spending our tax dollars on. We should be spending our tax dollars on fixing the border, trying to make sure, stop giving money to other countries, trying to fix our own country. Stop trying to, fix the shit problem in California. Stop making, groceries, eggs are $12 a carton. Do something about it. Yep. Do something about that. Try to fix that.
It's just like, was it? I think, Jasmine Crockett. Right before this, like I said, we were listening to the protecting women's sports one, and Jasmine Crockett came in there, and the first thing she did was talk about Trump. All they do in these things is they try to get these sound bites for the social media for dumbass people to be like, yeah, she got him. Well, you don't even know where the fuck that sound bite came from in the first place, because it was talking about, protecting women's sports, and she's in there talking about Trump. Come on, seriously. You think that actually did something? Because when you look at the actual context of it, when you go through these things and know where they're coming from, it's these representatives that just want these sound bites time and time and time and time and time again for their social media, for people who think they're doing a good job. It's these representatives that do nothing. They do absolutely nothing in Congress at all. They're just there to throw shade at somebody, and it's horribly disgusting to know that this is our representation, And I started going through these committee hearings and these Senate hearings and everything, and it started to catch on because I listened to one of them in its entirety, and I was like, well, why did they say that? What was the point of that? And then that's all I saw, like an hour or two after that. That's all I saw on their social media, is just that. People talking about, oh yeah, you rocked them, you did. And I'm just like, okay, so it came from this. What about what this person said had anything to do with the subject? Well, it doesn't, but it's still, wait, it has nothing to do with the subject. This is your representation. These are the people you elect who are doing absolutely nothing but just shit talking. That's it. I mean, Are we going to elect anybody from Twitter because all they do is shit talk? No, hell no.
Listen,
so why are we electing these people into office?
I mean, look at those two guys that got expelled from, what was it, Louisiana or something like that? Those two young black kids. They were like,
that was Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. They were like TikTokers or social media influencers that became, or BLM activists who became politicians. And that's another thing. They want to allow people from other countries to come in and join the military, and then after they join the military, they become American citizens. Don't have a problem with that. But what happens when they come from another country? They are in our military, and then they turn on us. They do that 4 years. They found out most of our intelligence and everything like that, and then we're eaten up from the inside out.
Like,
and you know why?
Swalwell banging a Chinese spy.
What? Ooh, fingers?
Swalwell. Yeah, he gets mad when you bring that up too. He's like, "You're not allowed to say that. You can't say that." I'm sorry, you were banging a Chinese spy, sir.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say it.
And then her plane mysteriously went down.
Yeah,
I hate the whole system. I really do. And to be honest with you, I know what.
I said, "Oh, like
yeah, no." Yeah. I hate the whole system. I hate the entire system. You know, they used to be, these people went to Washington to represent the people. They got a per diem, you know, and then they went back and they were dentists. They were the cobblers. They were this, they were that. They did whatever they did back home. They only spent a certain amount of time in Congress. Mm-hmm. Now they're full-time careers. These motherfuckers are going there for 4 years. Eric Santos was ousted, okay? For what was it? For taking money from a dog donation.
No. It was George Santos, and George Santos was ousted because he was misusing his funds for different things. Like he was getting Botox done and things like that, and you know, just weird things that he was just using his campaign funds, which is illegal. But then again, you also have like Menendez, who's literally he was taking bribes from Egyptian officials, you know, in the form of gold bars. Like that's intelligent, I guess. But yeah, he was doing that, and he's still in office. You know, seeing this happen on a daily basis within our government, it's just like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
why do we allow this to happen?
And he was part of that crew of people that went all the way to Puerto Rico during the pandemic when nobody was allowed to do anything. They went down to Puerto Rico and had a good time on our dollar.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Stole money from GoFundMe. He set up for a dying vet dog with cancer. Yeah, that's what they ousted him for. He was charged with 59 other things, but that's what they ultimately ousted him for. So here we are, folks. We are in for the debate. That's one of the reasons why we are here tonight. So let's see what they got to say.
Are they not? You want to do the Rumble one?
Guess I'll go to Rumble. Let's see.
Yeah, we got
live.
I can actually give you the link if you need
to. Yeah, send me the link.
Control C. I'm gonna throw it in the private chat.
Okay.
But yeah, Polar Bear on the off-label side says, and now all those deans are being called to turn in their resignations from donors. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Polar? How you doing?
Actually make these decisions, not pundits or pollsters. I'm sick of hearing about these polls because I remember those polls in November of 2022. They said there was going to be a big red wave. It was going to be monumental, and that crashed and burned. The one place
that was because of Ronald
McDaniel.
Was
in the state of Florida. They weren't predicting that I would win the way I did, and I won the greatest Republican victory in the history of the state of Florida. I'm looking forward to Iowa and New Hampshire.
Mama J in the house.
Earn this nomination. And
here's Mama J.
I am sick
Hi.
of Republicans who are not willing to stand up and fight back against what the left is doing to this country. You've got to be willing to stand strong, and you've got to be willing to beat these people. I'm the only one running.
Is it me or does his neck not move?
People on issue after issue.
Or is his shoulders?
We beat
He just moves his head and his shoulders.
School choice. We beat Fauci on COVID. We beat George Soros when we removed 2 of his radical district attorneys. We beat the Democrats on election integrity. I have delivered results. That's what we need for this country. And you have other candidates up here like Nikki Haley. She caves anytime the left comes after her, anytime the media comes after her. I did a bill in Florida to stop the gender mutilation of minors. It's child abuse and it's wrong. She opposes that bill. She thinks it's fine and the law shouldn't get involved with it. If you're not willing to stand up for the kids, if you're not willing to stand up and say that it is wrong to mutilate these kids, then you're not going to fight for the people back home. I will fight for you and I will win for you.
I think it's his eyebrows that don't move.
Sorry, did I miss anything good?
We just started.
No, we just started.
$100,000 in the bank.
Okay.
We were just
later,
we were just talking about the Senate hearing today about with the 3 college was it presidents in the comments about the genocide of Jewish people and how well in context it matters. Shut your face. It doesn't. You're calling for the.
No, like there's also there was a committee hearing today. I think it was the Ways and Means Committee. Dude, the way that they talk about our tax dollars is disgusting.
Oh yeah.
They were going back and forth. They're like, listen, if Bush and Trump wouldn't have done tax cuts, then we wouldn't be in the situation that we are in the debt right now. It's well, maybe if you didn't have all these shitty programs and giving them all our money to Ukraine and Israel right now and Iran, then we probably wouldn't be in this mess right now.
And the industrial the weapons industrial military industrial. Yeah. If we weren't giving $800 billion to them every year for, for 2 planes, a side of fries and some fucking mozzarella cheese, maybe we'd have more fucking money. But no, they got to give money to their friends because after they get out, they're going to get a job here. They're going to get a job there. They're going to get a job. That's why I'm saying that's why I dislike the entire thing. I dislike the entire thing because all they do is to set up for when they get out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not when we were talking about. That's not how it started. That's not how this whole thing. That's not how this goes. That's not how any of this goes.
Yeah. Sorry to derail you all.
No, listen.
No, you're good.
This is the way it goes.
Okay.
reportedly worth $8 million, thanks to lucrative corporate speeches and board memberships like you had with Boeing. Weeks ago, you met with Wall Street heavyweights, including leaders from JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and BlackRock. Several other billionaire investors are reportedly ready to endorse you, or recently have, all of which comes with expectations. Aren't you too tight with the banks and the billionaires to win over the GOP's working class base, which mostly wants to break the system, not elect someone beholden to it?
Yes.
Great
well,
question.
Thank you. It's great to be here. First I'll tell you, just to respond to Ron, he continues to lie about my record. I actually said his Don't Say Gay bill didn't go far enough because it only talked about gender until the third grade. And I said it shouldn't be done.
So what does this have to do with her question?
To talk about it.
Nothing. She's just going around in a fucking circle.
In
a merry-go-round.
Donors coming on board. Look, we will take support from anybody we can take support from, but I have been a conservative fighter all my life. I was a Tea Party candidate when I became governor. We opposed every single corporate bailout we possibly could. We passed tort reform.
Did they wire her jaw shut?
Illegal immigration laws in the country. We passed pro-life bills. We moved in unemployment from 11% to 3%. We took on the unions and we took on Obama when it came to the unions, the Syrian refugees, and everything in between. And so I've had a fight. And so as much as Ron says that, that's not true. But when it comes to these corporate people that want to suddenly support us, we'll take it. But I don't ask them what their policies are. They ask me what my policies are. And I tell them what it is. Sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they don't. Some don't like how tough I am on China. Some don't like the fact that I've signed pro-life bills. Some don't like the fact that I may oppose corporate bailouts. That doesn't matter. That's who I am. And that's why the most conservative grassroots group in the country, Americans for Prosperity, endorsed me last week.
Well,
The GOP
No.
pushes for her hard.
she didn't respond to the criticism. It wasn't about the Parents' Rights and Education Bill. It was about prohibiting sex change operations on minors.
Everything she just said was a
Puberty
lie,
blockers,
but okay.
These are irreversible. Talk to Chloe Cole. She went through this. Now she's an adult. She's warning against it. She may never be able to have kids again.
Abel,
That's
your
what
friend.
Nikki Haley opposed. She said the law shouldn't get involved in that. And I just ask you, if you're somebody that's going to be the president of the United States and you can't stand up against child abuse,
The amount of people watching
how
keeps
are you
going
gonna
up like
be
the
able to
debt
stand
clock.
up
Never
for
said that.
anything? That is the truth.
I
We
never
have
said
it
that.
on video.
I said that if you have to be 18 to get a tattoo, you should have to be 18 to have anything done to
You
change
said
your
the
gender.
law should stay out of it.
We're gonna get to this in more detail later. Let's finish with electability, but trust me, we're coming back to this issue. Mr. Ramaswamy, for months you campaigned as a unifier. Then you stood up at the first debate and attacked all of your competitors as bought and paid for. The second debate, you changed your tune, saying these are good people on this stage, admitting you can come across as a bit of a know-it-all and rejecting the practice of personal insults. By debate number 3, you called Nikki Haley corrupt, accused Ron DeSantis of wearing high heels, and told Ambassador Haley she should keep an eye on her daughter. Can you see how this has led some to conclude you are not, in fact, a unifier, and to question your
I
authenticity?
love the way he smiled at that.
Megan, I think there's a time and place for everything. We need somebody in the White House who absolutely is going to be a fighter when it counts. And I did say that there were some good people on that stage in that third debate. Doug Burgum was on that stage at that time. And I'll say that jokingly. Ron DeSantis is a good person, too. I want to go back, though, to Nikki Haley's comment from earlier that she is somehow not responding to the will of these donors. Nikki, you were bankrupt when you left the UN. After you left the UN, you became a military contractor. You actually started joining service on the board of Boeing, whose back you scratched for a very long time, and then gave foreign multinational speeches like Hillary Clinton is. And now you're a multimillionaire. That math does not add up. It adds up to the fact that you are corrupt. And when I said they were bought and paid for, I meant the Republican establishment, not the Democratic establishment. Now you have Reid Hoffman, the person who's effectively George Soros Jr., funding lawsuits across this country against Donald Trump to keep him off the ballot, funding left-wing causes. We discovered this week that he is one of Nikki Haley's largest supporters. Larry Fink, the king of the woke industrial complex, the ESG movement, the CEO of BlackRock, the most powerful company in the world, now supporting Nikki Haley. And to say that doesn't affect her is false, because it's after that meeting later that day that she says that every American needs to be doxxed by having their ID, their government-issued ID, tied to what they say on the internet. So I think that this is far more corrupt than I even imagined when I entered politics. But I will say this. It is going to take a leader from the outside with fresh legs from the next generation to unite this country. Not the broken politicians who are puppets of the puppet masters, but the actual people in this country. Thomas Jefferson was 33 when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. I think it's going to take somebody whose best days in life are still ahead to see a country whose best days are ahead of itself. And I think I can reach that next generation better than anybody else.
He said, y'all motherfuckers is old.
I still can't get over the comparisons between him and Obama.
First of all, we weren't bankrupt when I left the UN.
The comparison between Vivek and Obama.
Oh, the things that he's saying.
It may be bankrupt to him, but it's
I really haven't heard many of them.
Have you seen that video?
I haven't seen them all now.
I did a lot of work with Boeing when I was governor. They were a great partner to me. I served.
Find it. I send you and Scott
and then when they decided
so much shit.
after COVID that they wanted to go for a corporate bailout.
Okay.
I never supported corporate bailout, so I respectfully stepped back and got off the board. I love Boeing. They build good good commercial airplanes. They build airplanes for our Air Force. I am proud of them. They employ a lot of people in South Carolina, but that's why I left the Boeing board. There's nothing to what he's saying. And in terms of these donors that are supporting me, they're just jealous. They wish that they were supporting them, but I'm not going to sit there and deny.
Let me get the governor in.
Hold on, pause that. So everybody's just jealous that she's corrupt as shit and getting money from these corporations, and you got to cheer for that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling, dude, the GOP is 100% behind Nikki Haley right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
You can tell. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone in that audience is definitely.
But you know who their audience
is brought in by the GOP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
they're not regular ass people, regular everyday people that are in the crowd there.
No, there's no way. I put the video. Hold on, let me put this video up for y'all. It's like 50 seconds.
These are not Democrat ideas or Republican ideas.
This is an American idea.
These are fundamentally American ideals.
Imagine they were driving a car and they drove it into the ditch.
If somebody has repeatedly crashed your car,
you can't have the keys back.
Do you want to turn over the keys to the same people who crashed it?
He said Russia in the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore.
The Cold War's been over for 20 years.
It fell back in 1990.
A skinny guy with a funny name.
Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name?
But they sense deep in their bones.
I believe deep in my bones.
E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. We are one people.
I have a dream that we can be one people again.
See, I get that, but the USSR comment, they were kind of both out of context, because the USSR comment with Obama, I think they were talking about a foreign policy on something like that, and then with Vivek, that was on one of the debates, and they were talking about Russia and Ukraine. So I think that the context of that is kind of different for that one. The other ones, it is what it is, I think. But I don't know. They both are.
Your nose is so brown right now.
Listen, that's racist.
Are you smelling shit right now? Brown noser.
Listen, he is from India. What can I say?
It's like there are certain things that resonates with the American people, no matter what are said. Okay, and saying things like that, it's like that's why Obama was so popular, was because he was saying things that the Americans wanted to hear, and it's the same thing with Vivek. Whether Vivek's actually going to be in Obama or not, well, I don't know, honestly. But
let's just say Obama promised a lot of stuff, and
well, of course, but he
bombed
also
a lot of
American kids. So
I will tell you, I remember, because I was in my last year of college when he got elected, and I watched his speech, and his acceptance speech, and I was just like, you know what? I didn't vote for the guy. I don't like the guy, but looking at the people in the crowd and just how much hope that they had, I was like, I hope he makes these people happy.
And they won't stop talking about him.
Nope.
Well, I mean, he did marry a man.
They do recycle speeches all the time, but I mean, it's like Rich said, it's like yelling "Nib High football rules," and everybody goes, "Yay! America's number one! Yay!" So
Doyle rules.
Doyle rules. Something really bad's gonna happen to your family. I can feel it.
I wrote a book talking about ESG and these woke corporations in BlackRock. The idea that I want to do that in Florida, they were managing our part of our pension. And then when they did the ESG, I took $2 billion away from BlackRock. We took action. This ESG, they call it environment.
He made the fucking camera shake. Did you see that?
Meeting with all these people. They want to use economic power to impose a left-wing agenda on this country. They want basically to change society without having to go through the constitutional process. We've kneecapped.
He looks like he's from the prehistoric era.
The United States needs to be able to go to that
He looks like a Cro-Magnon.
and end ESG. And the fact of the matter is, we know from her history, Nikki will cave to those big donors when it counts. And that is not acceptable.
This is actually very interesting what he's talking about, because they actually did have a committee hearing talking about ESG and all this stuff. And when they did the hearing, like the Democrats were basically like saying, well, it's not mandatory, and then the people that were up there were like, yeah, but you're like forcing people's hands to do it. It might not be mandatory, but you're like taking things away or giving incentives to do it, or taking things away. So it's like forcing someone's hand to do it.
Yeah. If you give money to somebody, you absolutely expect them to do something for you.
Oh, of course.
You absolutely expect them to do something for you. So.
Oh, we missed someone go. Oh, can you go back 10 seconds?
Well, I didn't write that book, Ron, and the irony is Nikki Haley was heaping praise on me when I wrote that book, but now I worry. I was warning about the woke industrial complex in this country as a warning. Apparently, she read it as a how-to manual, just like she reads George Orwell's books as well. And so I think that that's actually far more dangerous than. This is really important for people to understand. We're marching towards fascism under Biden. Jack Smith has subpoenaed every last retweet that someone has issued from Donald Trump in the year 2020. The only person more fascist than the Biden regime now is Nikki Haley, who thinks the government should identify every one of those individuals with an ID. That is not freedom. That is fascism. And she should come nowhere near the levers of power, let alone the White House.
I've got to get to Governor Christie. I haven't forgotten.
Well,
Can I just say, can you speak?
I really appreciate
how
that.
How you doing, sir?
Good to see you.
Can you please speak to the requirement?
God, he looks
You
half
said
dead. What
that
the fuck?
every anonymous internet user needs
This
to
has made him like age 10 years.
Happy to, and I love all the attention, fellas. Thank you for that. I'll say this. What I said was that social
because you're a woman, it's because you're a horrible human being.
Algorithms. I also said there are millions of bots on social media right now. They're foreign, they're Chinese, they're Iranian. I will always fight for freedom of speech.
And have the fucking
Americans.
news stop
We do
quoting
not
them.
need freedom of speech for Russians and Iranians and Hamas. We need social media companies to go and fight back on all of these bots that are happening. That's what I said. As a mom,
No, you didn't.
As a mom,
Well,
do I
kind
think
of
that
did.
social media would be more civil if we went and had people's names next to that? Yes, I do think that, because I think we've got too much cyberbullying.
Look at
I
fucking
think we've got
Facebook.
child pornography,
You got
all of
people.
those
You got
things.
people with their names there, and they still say shitty
Government
things.
should go and require anyone's
That's
name.
false.
She
What
said,
I
I
said-
want your name.
She
As president of the
absolutely said
United
it.
States, her first day in office, she said, one of the first things I'm going to do.
I said we
all
were going to
social
get
media
the
is, I
millions
want
of
your name.
bots.
She wants
That's what she
government
said.
ID to
Hold
go.
on.
That's what
No.
she said. You can roll the tape. She said, I want your name. And that was going to be one of the first things she did in office. And then she got real serious blowback, and understandably so, because it'd be a massive expansion of government.
Actually,
We have anonymous speech. The Federalist Papers were written with anonymous writers. Jay, Madison, and Hamilton, they went under Publius. It's something that's important, and especially given how conservatives have been attacked and they've lost jobs and they've been canceled.
Mama
You
J
know
left.
the regime would use that to
Should be right
weaponize
back.
that against our own people.
Okay,
It was a
so-
bad
so I have
idea,
to say-
and
I
she
have
should
to-
own up to it. Come on, now, what are
I'm
you
going to
doing
give you
here?
15 seconds, and then there is the governor,
Okay.
former governor of New
This
Jersey. who
cracks me up
deserves some
because Ron is
I got
so
it.
hypocritical.
Hold on. Okay. Let's go.
Okay, you got it. Okay.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say, and it gets rid of the Russian bots, the Iranian bots, and the Chinese bots. And then you're going to get some civility when people know their name is next to what they say.
Accountability.
And they know their pastor and their family member is going to see it. It's going to help our kids, and it's going to help our country.
So that's what she said.
Oh, first of all, it's not gonna help shit in the first place, because to verify for Twitter Premium, X Premium, whatever the hell you want. You got to turn in that information to get verified on there. There are bots on there that are verified. It's still not going to stop shit. And the fact that she's actually just sitting there trying to say that, trying to say, no, I didn't say that. I didn't. No, you straight up did. You want to take away anonymity on the internet because people are on your Twitter account talking shit about you and you don't know who they are. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about for her.
And
Well,
she wants to be.
next-
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and next she's gonna want, for you to either, scan your iris or do some type of biometrics to be able to get on the internet. Like WorldCoin.
Should be smart. Oh, never mind. Comments at the Super Brown now. Yeah, we're gonna get that on a shirt. We need to get that on a shirt. But yeah, it's not gonna get rid of the bots. There's still gonna be bots. It's just, here's an idea. You know what a bot is? It's got 3 followers. It follows 3,700 people. It doesn't have a face to it. Does it matter? Don't answer the bots. Don't quote the bots. If you don't interact with a bot, what is it going to do? It's not going to feed into the algorithm. That's the problem. That's the problem. People are too stupid, though.
I've been called a bot on social media because I sit there and I go after the stupid ass people. I've been called a bot. And it's just, I'm a Trump bot, or I'm like, I have been, out of all of us, I'm the only one who's just like, I hate the fuck. You all know that. I'm just like, I hate him. He's an asshole, but I still support him because I see what's going on, with him, especially with all these legal things going on. I see all this playing out. So it's kind of like, I like the underdog in that situation kind of thing. And he's done I had more money under him than I do right now, than I did with Obama, than I did with Bush, than I did with Clinton. So yeah, I'm okay with him. I don't give a shit if he's sitting there telling, who was that? Rosie O'Donnell, that she's a fat pig. I don't care. Let him say it. It's God, Jesus Christ. And the whole, y'all remember the what was that? The grab him by the P word comment?
Yeah. Grab him by the woo-wah.
What man doesn't say that? What man wouldn't say anything like that?
Let alone, do we not remember a guy named Barry Manilow, where women were literally throwing their underwear on stage? Or was it Tom? No, it's Tom Jones. Tom Jones. Where women literally throw their underwear on stage while he was performing.
Hell,
and you're telling me
would faint with Elvis Presley shaking his hips.
And you're not telling me that girls didn't try to get back. There was this guy. His name was Elvis. He came over here. They didn't like him on TV because he thrusted his pelvis around. You're telling me that you've never seen the Motley Crue documentary where women are lining up to get backstage to these men? You've never been to a rock concert where people are just lined up backstage to try to get a chance with famous people? You're telling me you don't?
That's another thing. There was like 13-year-olds back there, and they're bragging about that shit. So
yeah,
that's very true.
But I mean, so when you're saying grab them by the hoo-ha when you're talking to another guy, if he's not doing it, and so far, I don't care what, even with the E. Jean Carroll, there's no evidence, there's no video proof, there's nothing that shows that he's done that. Okay, there's all hearsay and all this stuff. I got video of Joe Biden touching kids. I can show you that.
Yep.
I can show you Joe Biden touching.
No, I was told that's deep fakes.
Oh, that's deep fakes?
Yeah, even though it was done live.
Even though that was live on C-SPAN like 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But this is what it means. Like having conversations with people who just don't want to listen. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to listen anymore. Everybody just wants to make their points and just move on, and they're right. And no matter what, there's never. I mean, she's talking about civility, bringing civility back. There's not going to be any civility coming back. You have people disassociating from family members because of not getting a shot. or arguing about whether or not to go outside. And you think people are going to be civil to people they don't even fucking know? Are you out of your mind?
Well, no, and here's the biggest thing though too is that Republicans need to get out of their freaking head. Like they're playing by the Republicans are playing by the rules. The Democrats just threw the rule book out and making their own shit up as they go. And it's just like there is none. There's not going to be any, like you said, because there's no rules for what's going on right now. We're like in uncharted territory right now. And the GOP is still trying to play like by the rule book, and they can't right now.
But I think they're trying
to
actually
just use the rules against these people, but they won't do anything. They just sit and give you lip service. That's all they do. And then and just to get a viral clip and be like, oh, you know?
Uh-huh. And nobody knows where that viral
the
clip
non-believers.
Came from.
What'd you say, Rich?
I said nobody knows where that viral clip came from because nobody pays attention. That's why I stream these committee hearings because, everybody wants to talk about misinformation and things like that. Nobody understands that our government, our committee hearings, our Senate, our House of Representatives, they're the ones that say these things and everybody picks up on it. They run with it. The misinformation comes from our own damn government. I mean, just today we were listening to, God, who was that? That was AOC talking about how, men can be women and they should be allowed in women's sports. And there's no evidence whatsoever that men actually harm women. When Riley Gaines was sitting there in her opening statement talking about how, a girl got literally, she's still somewhat paralyzed because a man spiked a volleyball in her face and it caused brain damage.
And that
I'm just like,
chick that lost all of her teeth.
Right. And I'm just like, this is where it comes from. The people pick up on this shit and they run with it. Oh, with this one?
Mm-hmm. I've spent a decent amount of my time here in Congress sitting through panels and hearings of men attempting to restrict the rights of women and telling us that it's for our own good.
And now women are going to restrict the rights of other women. Let's do it, girls. Let's do it. Because we love men.
Men are going to restrict the rights of other women to make men women.
They're called super women.
Oh my God.
That is the fucking worst way to start this. Oh my God. My head hurts already. Let's go.
But I want to dive a little bit more deeply into why this issue with targeting trans women in sports is particularly problematic, not just for trans girls, but for all of us.
Oh, shit,
We're here today because there's a proposal here, and there are several proposals here to further marginalize trans women in sports. And I think about this all the time because trans people in the United States doesn't even exceed 1% of our population. And yet there is so many.
Then why the fuck are we going out of our way? Why the fuck do we continue to go out of our way to appease 1% of the fucking population?
I mean, that was my point I made earlier today.
Resources and energy and time dedicated to figuring out how we can more finely exclude them from our sports. And I thought, why so much effort and dedication on such a tiny portion of the U.S. population when there virtually is no major issue that is precipitating? And
no, the volleyball player
in the locker room.
Like, what just happened? Oh yeah, a cyclist, two transgendered cyclists just took first and second in the recent cycling event.
Girls missing out on scholarship opportunities up in Vermont like years ago because two boys took like I guess one state in Vermont for like track and field.
And like you said, what about that girl that got knocked out playing volleyball?
Yeah.
What about the girl from the field hockey team that got her teeth knocked out?
Yeah.
But you know,
yeah, we
I'll
can't
talk about that.
man.
Let's talk about, you know, the 1% of people who want to play in a different gendered sport. Make their own league. Make their own fucking league. Who like it's
Started to realize that a lot of these proposals here involve invasion of privacy of all women. Ms. Goss-Graves, can you tell us a little bit about what sex testing looks like for youth in states with trans athletic bans?
It's terrible. In some states, any individual could challenge whether someone is a girl enough to play. In some states, it requires actual genital verification, which is shocking. And there
Pause it real quick.
I was just about to.
Any student who wants to play a sport, before you can go out and try out, what do kids have to do? Go get a fucking physical.
Yep. For a man, a doctor has to cup your balls, tell you to turn your head left, and cough.
Well,
they have to feel around for a fucking hernia down there.
It's not cupping your balls, all right? Let's get this straight. It's take 2 fingers and he goes right up, man. Right up in your balls.
Around with it.
He takes it and he goes right in there and he goes cough and you go because you got his fucking 2 fingers somewhere dangling in your throat. All right, this motherfucker takes his fingers and
he's tickling your uvula.
Oh, let me tell you, I had a little
40 years old. You have to get a finger stuck up your ass for to make sure your prostate's okay.
Yeah.
So, God.
I mean, listen, but you know, now I guess we're gonna have to have physicals for women to get their prostates checked. I guess this is what we're gonna have to do now. Jesus, like
it's not as if
so
and let me just
biological men and women will never be equal, and females in power think the image of women is more important than the safety. Yeah, and also they've turned the image of women masculine. It's true.
No, yeah. I mean, it was a trend around TikTok and Twitter recently about masculine women, about how, you know, people don't like masculine women, and then all of a sudden you want to just throw this in there like this is okay, and there was people actually angry about it. Like, listen, do whatever you want, ladies. Like, you can bodybuild. There's guys who love that. There's guys who don't. Everybody has their own opinion. There's women who like doughier guys. There's women who like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Brian Bosworth in the 80s. You have your personal fucking preference. But to allow this to happen and have, like Riley Gaines said, I was getting changed and I turned to the side and I see male genitalia in my face. That's what you want your daughters to do? That's what you want? That's what you...
And the thing is, it even goes down to the whole stuff that we've been seeing for the past few years, though, too. It's just like it becoming a fad, the whole transgender transitioning, like becoming, it's like more like mainstream. Like there's always been trans people or transvestites, you know, things like that. But it wasn't like so fetishized as it is now.
It wasn't a trend.
Now it's more women who are deciding that they are going to transition from a woman to a man. And I don't know.
Absolutely. Personal opinion should never be a factor when making laws and changing the whole system, period. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead and
That's
throw this up real quick, and then we got to get back to the base because we got this
Yeah, sorry.
This is what I was talking about. This is from the same hearing. Listen to fucking Jasmine Crockett's opening, and this was a soundbite altogether. This is what it was for. This is what it was about for her. Listen to this.
Engaging in personalities, so I'll continue, and you can reclaim your time. Thank you, Madam Chair. So we saw recently with the
Wait. Let me go back to the beginning of her.
For sex trained to look for would have to take in.
The chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett
Here
from
we go.
Texas.
Oh, okay. All right. So most everyone up here on the other side of the aisle has endorsed a person that has been found liable for sexual abuse of women to be our president of the United States. But we are going to talk about how this party is going to protect women. Protecting women, what exactly does that mean? Are we going to talk about sexual abuse? Because we can get into it, because we do have some real conversations that we can have about it. Considering the fact that we're currently in the middle of, say, a war.
I'm just gonna pause it right there because what does this have to do with the subject?
I got a question. I got a question. What war are we in?
Let's see. There's Ukraine
Gender
and Russia,
war.
and there's
No.
I don't know.
No. I'm talking about
Syria.
What? Wait, I'm still confused. Are we in a war?
Civil war.
I declare war.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare war.
Yeah.
Seriously, this is all this woman does. It's either racism or Trump, and that's it. What did Trump have to do with transgender athletes in school sports? What is the point of this, other than a little soundbite?
And now that's what we talk about: hurting senators' feelings because their opinions was heard or it wasn't taken into account. BS. Wipe the board and start over. F it. Yeah, I completely agree.
I'm the one that's always saying we need to charge every single one of them treason. Let the people be the judge. Let the people be the jury. Let the people be the defense, the prosecution. Let every single person above the age of 18 vote, whether they are guilty or not. You get 1 or 2 convictions, it's all done with. They'll stop. I guarantee you they will stop. And
well, I say this.
Let's not get it twisted here. We are always at war, so treason is always on the table. They just call it military police action, so Congress doesn't have to vote.
Well, I say this all the time, and I think that you would appreciate it, Senpai, is that at these congressional hearings, they should have a bailiff and a jail underneath for people to be taken away when they are either held in contempt or they're shown to lie while they're talking, and they can prove it right then and there. They should be taken out. The person who is either testifying or the freaking people who are in Congress and Senate in these committees, they should just be taken out and having to go to jail.
Yes.
For lying.
There was one where he actually covered where the dude's just like, hey, in an op-ed, you said this. And she's just like, no, I didn't.
Nope. Yeah.
But it's in print. No, that's not what I said. No, that's what Michael Cohen went to fucking prison for.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just gonna forget that?
Yeah.
But yet he was allowed to lie in the trial with Engeron and nothing happened there. So
And he's and now Trump's gagged again.
Yeah.
Because you know why, right? I think I sent it to you, or the girl, and I sent it to Rich. The bank said that's not what happened, and the judge said yes, that's what happened, and the bank said that's not what happened. We sent our own appraisers, and our own appraisers did the appraisal, and that's the figure we came out with. And the judge went, nobody can talk about this.
Yeah. Fucking
what? What the fuck are we? This is, and we were talking about this before. Like, when you're on trial for something, and the judge goes, the jury needs to strike that. Like, do they come with the Men in Black thing? Just fucking bink. Oh, you forgot? No. People are gonna remember what was said in the trial, and that's gonna affect what is their decision. They're not gonna say, well, I did it because of X, Y, and Z, and and that thing that you told me not to remember, I remembered. But like, it's like when you see people make a comment on Twitter, and then they don't let comments in, and you go,
yes.
What the when they're absolutely full of shit when they don't allow you to comment, and it happens a lot. By the way, Biden got fucking fact checked again the other night. Yeah, last night I think it was, when he said he created 800,000 jobs, and they were like, well, 587,000 of that was from recovery from the lockdowns. You did create 175,000, so that's good. but you're telling people fucking 800,000. But they want to go, but they keep telling everybody Trump had 10,000 lies. This motherfucker lies on a daily basis on Twitter, 2 to 3 times a day. They fact check the motherfucker. They don't delete it. They just leave it up, and they go, well, you know, Joe, he's doing the best he can.
Well, it's like the Amtrak story lie that he always talks about. Even though that they called him out and said, "Hey, Joe, you're lying," he still tells the story. The guy was dead. Like, you know, and I'm a Scranton boy, blah, 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 blah. And I was the top of my class. Blah, blah, blah.
My favorite story still is he wasn't even facing dementia yet, and he was talking about how he talked to his dad about being the vice president of the first black president. Meanwhile, his dad died 6 years before Obama became president.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I talked to my dad about it. And I said, and they're like, Joe, your dad died 6 years before that. He was like, oh.
No, he did. I talk to him every night in my prayers.
It's just disgusting the way we've. This is your elected officials, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people you put in office and never listen to them again, except for little sound bites. These are the people who literally have a little bit of retardation going on, and you allow them to sit up there and tell you how to live your life.
Dude, he was
with reckless abandon.
What Fetterman was on The View the other day, and I actually agreed with him. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, about the George Santos stuff.
Yeah,
the George.
And he was talking about
Next, can we do like Richard Blumenthal or no?
Dude, can we do all of them? Dick Durbin?
Yeah.
Can we do all of them?
Yeah.
Please.
Because he actually went and tried to push a law that would stop anonymous people from talking to the press, and went so far to say bloggers should have to register with the state if they're going to write about elected
That's
officials.
actually
it
true.
was in the
That
check
is
the
true.
newspaper. It was absolutely there.
Some
I have never said government
no
should
more, no trample on your
You can
constitutional
come back to it
rights.
later.
This is more dangerous than the
You're
Democrats.
lying.
This section's over.
You're lying.
Governor Christie.
Really?
Just that
I'm
piece.
usually not somebody who gets missed, but okay, let's go.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Why?
Listen, you endorsed Donald Trump in 2016
He did
and
a fact check
2020.
against himself.
You gave him
That's funny.
an A for his first term. Since then, however, you've turned on him, calling him a liar, a loser, a con man, and someone who cannot win. You've even said that you got into this race just to stop President Trump.
Does he look like he's having trouble
Approval rating with
breathing?
Republicans is currently at 81%.
I don't even think
Yours
he's
is at
breathing.
25. Your best state is New Hampshire, and even there, 2/3 of GOP voters say they would be angry and disappointed if you won.
He just froze in
Governor,
time with that.
You have not
Looks like they told him they ran out of chocolate chip
Voters may
cookies.
wonder how you could possibly become the nominee of a party that does not appear to like you very much.
Yeah. Well, look, Megan, it's often very difficult to be the only person on the stage who's telling the truth, and the only person who is taking on what needs to be taken on. I look at my watch now. We're 17 minutes into this debate, and except for your little speech in the beginning, we've had these three acting as if the race is between the four of us. The fifth guy, who doesn't have the guts to show up and stand here,
Who's also
he's
got
the one who
50% of the vote already. So shut up,
and
stupid.
yet I've got these three guys who are all seemingly to compete with, Voldemort, he who shall not be named. They don't want to talk about it. The fact is that when you go and you say the truth
Because
about
it's
someone
career
who's a
suicide.
dictator, a bully, who
Listen,
has
stop
taken
breathing when
shots at
threatened.
everybody, whether
Listen
they've
to
given him great
people.
service or not over time, who dares to disagree with him, then I understand why these three are timid.
I have found myself a unicorn. I just have to
Maybe
say
because they
that.
have future aspirations. Maybe those future aspirations are now, or maybe they're 4 years from now. But the fact of the matter is the truth needs to be told. And for us to go 17 minutes without discussing the guy who has all those gaudy numbers you talked about is ridiculous. I'm in this race because the truth needs to be spoken. He is unfit. This is a guy who just said this past week that he wants to use the Department of Justice to go after his enemies when he gets in there. I mean, the fact of the matter is he is unfit to be president, and there is no bigger issue in this race, Megan, than Donald Trump, and those numbers prove it.
Governor Christie.
Hold on, pause
Oh,
it.
so then
that issue.
it's actually the people that is the biggest threat then.
Yes, that is exactly what he said. But he wants to sit there and talk about truth. Let's talk about truth. Let's talk about the only reason he's running is because, well, his whole campaign is Donald Trump made fun of me, put me in the White House. That's it. I mean, in everything.
Cream.
Everything, every little speech this guy does, town halls or anything, it's all about Trump. It's all about Trump, 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 Trump. Even when somebody asks him, what are you going to do about this? Well, I'm telling you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do like Trump.
Yeah.
And you want us to put you in the White House because Donald Trump made, I guess fucking Rosie O'Donnell deserves the White House now, huh? I guess Caitlin Collins deserves the White House. Judge Engoron, what's that? Fannie Willis, Letitia James. I deserve the White House.
You know who did make fun of? Caitlyn Jenner. I'm very surprised about that.
No. Caitlyn, who was it that Caitlyn Jenner threatened? I think wasn't it Vivek Ramaswamy?
Did she?
I don't know.
It said something. It was like a little transgender shit. And
Is that before or after he got away with killing someone?
Oh, that was after.
That was definitely after.
Okay.
Yeah, Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner after running that dude.
That's
over.
the fucking greatest story ever. I didn't kill nobody. Bruce did. Can we talk to Bruce? Bruce is gone.
I mean, when you have to use a Michelin tire to hold up your fucking pants, all right, maybe, just maybe, you don't need to be talking about how somebody's unfit to be in office because you were just 2 donuts away from a heart attack, sir. Let's not play games here. This is retarded that this dude actually comes in here and thinks, hey, I'm going to sit there and trash talk somebody who has what, 63% of the poll or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and trash talk him and call him Donald Duck. Like, all right. First off, please go back to kindergarten with that because that's the only place that's going to work. And you're going to sit there and trash talk somebody who literally made your career.
How about how about the guy who closed all the beaches and then he was on the fucking beach? You want to talk about somebody who
I can't get that image out of my head.
Like, come on,
honestly,
dude.
I saw him
That
and
was
I was
great.
like,
Everybody was calling him a whale.
legs and everything. Ugh.
Yeah, and he's just like this, looking up at the camera, looking up at the sky, like, bro, you close down the beach, and but you want to be president, and we're supposed to be like, yeah, you go, Chris, you do your thing.
Close down the beach for?
I don't even fucking know.
Because Murphy, I don't remember what it was. Because it wasn't it was tunnel shit too.
Well, yeah, Tunnelgate was another thing where he closed down the tunnels because he was pissed off at somebody. But the beach thing, I think, was closed because I believe it had to do with something.
Sandy.
Okay, yeah. He closed the beaches after Sandy, and then he was at the beach.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
all right.
Yeah. So, like, bro, you have no right to talk about somebody else like that when you did that.
Of Donald Trump in just a moment, but I'd like to first get to some questions.
Well, Morticia Adams there. I have no fucking idea who she is. And the other one's from Telemundo, probably.
On Israel. Governor DeSantis, tonight as we speak, the war is back on in Gaza. Israeli tanks are on the move and have surrounded the home of the leader of Hamas. 8 Americans have been held hostage in the tunnels beneath Gaza for 60 days now. American troops and warships in the Middle East are under attack. How far would you go as president to secure the release of those 8 American hostages? And would it include sending...
Can we look at his mouth? Do you see his mouth going? Watch his mouth. He's got the jaw.
He's got them chipmunk jaws.
Somebody went to Miami before he got there.
American forces into combat?
We have to look out for our people. When there are hostages, Commander-in-Chief, you have to do whatever you can to get them done. But the overall issue with this is this administration is trying to hobble Israel from being able to defend itself. They have a right to eliminate Hamas and win a total and complete victory so that they never have to deal with this again. Hamas wants nothing less than a second Holocaust. They would wipe off every single Jew off the map. They would destroy the state of Israel if we could. Joe Biden will say they support Israel, and then they do nothing but try to
What?
got freaking space lasers as defense mechanisms.
They are the second largest economy, I believe, in the world.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, for the Off Label podcast and everybody else that doesn't know this or anything, the whole the Jewish space lasers comment that everybody hates Marjorie Taylor Greene for, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
It's
it
not
really
even
is.
space lasers. There was an article a month ago in the Military Times or something like that talking about Israel being the first country to use lasers around its border for defense.
Yeah, and they're putting them in space. So yeah, they do have Jewish space lasers.
I talked about this months ago with the guys on here, and I told him, I was like, "Oh, I guess Marjorie Taylor Greene was right." And then I read the article, and it was talking about how you're using freaking laser beams as as part of their defense around their border. Like,
You
and
want to know?
besides just having the Iron Dome, they got fucking space lasers now too.
That was like 4 months ago. That's how fast this is going. It wasn't a month ago. It was like 4 months ago. And you because you said it was a month ago. Like this time flies.
I know.
Getting old just sucks.
But you remember, right? I have it somewhere.
Oh, I
in our
remember
notes
listening
somewhere.
to that because I was like, wait, what? Hold on. She was right.
I love how half the Senate started wearing red ties after Trump. Yeah, it's a power move. But yeah. But can we talk about how Israel has enough money, and once again we are sending them more money? We're sending them Hamas all them money.
We're funding both sides here.
Yeah,
because Joe Biden thinks, hey, if I start a war, it'll save my bid for presidency because most presidents win their reelection if it's wartime.
Mm-hmm.
You know that
But yet
meme of
the
that
Ukraine
stick
shit didn't
figure
happen.
with a stick and it being like, do something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're the stick figure. Israel's the stick.
Oh yeah.
And everybody
Poking it.
else, like, poking. Like, what the?
And did you hear how all of a sudden they're saying that Ukraine needs more money because they're about to be obliterated?
Yes.
We sent them how much? How much money have we sent them? And they keep talking about how, if we don't keep sending them more money, they're going to get obliterated. They're on the verge of being obliterated.
And then for some reason the Democrats are just like not understanding why the Republicans are like, we're gonna have to default like on our loans. Like it's just what's gonna happen. They're like, I don't understand. We need to tax the people more. That's what they fucking were talking about in the freaking committee hearing today. I was like,
Can we also glance upon the fact that now they're talking about money for the border, and they need a couple $100 billion for the border. Remember, Trump asked for $5 billion, and they lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
And now they're asking for a couple $100 billion.
Do y'all know how much it was actually reported? Do y'all know how much we're spending on all these migrants?
oh, a lot.
451 billion to bring them all here and support them. They are making roughly $66,000 per person of our money. $451 billion. We couldn't have $5 billion for a wall, but somehow we can mass print $451 billion a year and growing. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
But they won't. Guaranteed they won't touch on that. They won't touch on that. They're just gonna go. How is this guy better than this guy? How is this guy bad? Why is this guy telling you that you smell like cheese?
But we have to help the people.
I will say this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Fuck everyone else. We have the best military in the entire world. Bring them back home and guard our own fucking borders. Fuck everyone else.
I know. At this
Can't
point,
help anybody else if you're not
I'm
helping
starting to
yourself.
become like an isolational, whatever it's called. I don't know. Because
An escapade?
yeah, something like
Disney
that.
on
Just
Ice?
put the military, like have all the troops stand in a line across all the borders, and just tell them no. I can't. Done. Like, stop asking me for shit. That's what I feel. I feel like, as a mom or as a parent, your kids are always asking you for shit. And it's just, that's what the whole world is. And it's just like, stop asking me for shit.
Yeah.
All right.
At some point, you have.
I need a mom day. I need a spa day. I need to take care of myself real quick. and then maybe I'll be able to help you later. Just cool your tits.
Yeah, you can't fucking keep going broke because your kid wants fucking V-Bucks. You know, you can't. Can I get V-Bucks?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna tell the kid no because you can't. And then the kid goes, "Can I get McDonald's?" Well, it's either V-Bucks or McDonald's. Can I have both? No. Do you know how long I have to work for both of those things? Well, can't you work more? I'm gonna fucking choke you, child. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna fucking punch you right back to where you belong. Because like and that's the thing. Like you have these kids who are growing up, like my daughter's generation. Like they just think that they can ask their parents for money and continually ask, "Can I get money? Can I get money? Can I get money? Can I get?" No. Well, why? Because that's not how it works. You have to work. Well, I can't work because of this and that. No, go to work. I can't give you more money. Well, my parents are bad because they don't support me like this. Go to work. I've had a job since I was 15. My parents didn't give me. My parents barely gave me shit. They gave me stuff. They helped me out, you know, here and there, but not as much as these kids want their parents to help them out now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You know, these kids want to be supported till they're fucking 30, 40 years old. Like, no, sorry, kiddo. You got to go out and do it yourself. I can't support you myself forever. That's not how this works.
Right.
How do you think? So if our generation dies, where we're the last ones to know how to skin a buck or you know, make hamburger meat or anything like that. If we're dead and the next generation doesn't know how to do that, how do they think the fucking hamburgers are going to get on shelves? I mean, now they're just going to fucking genetically make it.
What are you talking about? They just magically appear there. You just go to the grocery store and it's there.
I need a mom. We had this conversation last night. Yeah, like it's like these kids just think all of a sudden like these, and I said it during the pandemic. Like you had all these people like, yeah, just stay home. Just why can't these people? Do you think the magic fucking meat fairy just comes and puts these things on the shelves, and all of a sudden it just appears? No, somebody has to do all this stuff. Somebody has to raise the cattle. Somebody has to feed. Somebody has to raise the grain to feed the cattle. Somebody has to take the cattle and slaughter the cattle. Somebody has to take the meat and grind it and make it in burgers. And somebody has to take the meat from the burgers, package it, take the packaging, bring it to Walmart, and then it's at Walmart, and then you can buy it. But no, if you do all that,
regulations and testing that it has to go through first because of the government. Yeah. You know.
I mean, who was that dude on Twitter that took that picture from the sky, wondering what the hell the farmland was and why it was square?
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yes, I know. Because he's never seen a farm. Like he was like, "Why is this square? What is this?" It's just like that's a farm, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That's where your food grows. What do you mean? It just shows up at the store.
What filter should I use?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen. Growing up, when I didn't know how many times you had to fucking buy gas until I got my own car, and I was 17, and then you realize you had to fill up once a week with $5. When $5 went a quarter of a tank, you know. I thought my mom got gas once every 3 months, which turns out she did. My dad usually went had to get gas for her every fucking other day. But like, you know, I thought like, oh, gas you do once. Like I didn't when I saw commercials and they were showing like, remember back in the day when they showed commercials with the stopping power and they were talking about the brakes in these cars and how the ABS brakes and all this stuff. And I was like, don't the cars just brake? Like I don't understand. And then you drive a car and you're like, holy shit, these brakes suck. I gotta stop fucking 40 seconds before the car in front of me stops, or else I'm dead. You know, these kids don't get that. These kids have had so much shit just given to them, and they're being told by adults, you deserve this. We were never told you deserve this. We were told you gotta go out and you gotta earn it. And now the people who had to go out and earn it are being told that they have to. They're obligated to give this shit that they've earned to their kids, and their kids don't gotta earn it. Fuck you. Fuck you all off. Like it's
you all off. That's a little weird to say.
Fuck you all off. Listen, shut up. But it's it angers the fuck out of me because we grew up in a time where it was just like you wanted something, you had to go work for it. And now these kids are just like, well, I don't want to go work for it. And then people look at you like, well, why don't you provide for your kid? I saw on Facebook that your son really wanted the PlayStation 5, and how come you didn't get it for him? Why don't you fucking buy it for him? Well, you're his parent. You should. Why don't you mind your own fucking business? Hey, CPS, this guy told me to mind my business because he wouldn't buy his kid a PlayStation 5. All of a sudden, CPS is at your door. You didn't buy him a PlayStation. Why don't you go fuck yourself too, huh?
What is also this trend now? Like kids nowadays, like are
We've gone off
not
the rails
wanting
again.
to get their
always do.
driver's license.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing with the boy with Code. That's what's going on with Code. Code's 18, don't got a license, and he goes, I really like he doesn't want.
What is this?
I don't know. And I took him to get his driver's license.
Yeah, my
I took him to
cousin, like he just did not want to get his and his parents were like, you have to get it. Like, I don't, and it's like pulling teeth. Like these kids don't want to drive.
No, because they're all
driving was a rite of passage for us.
Hell
because
yeah! I
they're
got my
all
permit when I was 15 years old. The second that I could, I started driving as early as I could. Man,
I started learning how to drive when I was like 8. When I was like when I was like 6 years old. My grandpa would take me up to the trailer park where they had their Puerto Rican summer home, and it was a privately owned property, and I would drive there. And then when I turned 16, I was like, yes, I get my license, or I'd get my driver's license. But yeah, Code is 18. He took his driver's license. He failed by one question. He was like, oh, I hit the wrong question by accident. And then he had nothing. And I said, okay, so we'll go back Tuesday.
That's probably true.
Listen, you say that, but do you remember the station wagons when we were facing the truck behind us? Had this conversation with my son a month ago. Like, do you remember? Like, we were literally watching death come at our faces at every second of the whole fucking family trip as we were watching the truck just come right close to the nose. Oh. But I mean, like, these kids just don't want to get their license for some strange fucking reason, and it's probably because they keep being told that they don't need to. What do you need to? I mean, what do you need to? You don't. You public transportation, and I keep going off the rails. Did you see what they're doing in New York?
No.
They're doing a congestion tax, and that fuck Kathy Hochul was smiling. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna get now we're gonna have people pay for congestion. Let me see. I don't remember where I put it, but I put it somewhere in one of the chats.
How is wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? There's no fucking way.
Oh, here it is.
Do they charge by the tissue? I'm just kidding. Just get it congestion.
So they got to charge by something because I mean,
well, I
Jesus
don't
Christ.
understand. So how are they? But they're probably going to use like what the defunct Excelsior to track everybody and be like, listen, if you're a congested area, we're going to tax you or something.
Watch this shit.
And so it begins. New York City will be the first city in America to charge Americans just to go to work in the morning.
Very first state in the nation, the very first city
That fucking smile.
That bitch, man.
in America to have a congestion
Does she still have her
pricing plan.
vaccinated
Americans will have to pay.
necklace
Probably makes her
for
husband
her
wear it.
disciples because she's Jesus. Remember? You were all
I remember that shit.
Americans will have to pay around $23 per day.
Pay around $23 per day.
Passenger vehicles would be charged $15 to enter the congestion zone, trucks between $24 and $36 depending on size, and motorcycles $7.50. Those tolls would be charged once per day and would be in effect between 5 a.m.
5 a.m. on the weekdays to 9 p.m. at night, and Wednesdays from 9 to 9. By the way, Jackie, you're from that area. I'm from that area. What's the license plates from that are usually in that area?
Oh, they're probably New Jersey.
People from other states. It's other states
Yeah.
because most of New Yorkers don't have a license or walk or use public transportation. So a lot of that is going for people from the state, but still, even though, and it's going to be below 60.
To go through the fucking bridge or the tunnel.
It's like $30 fucking to get from New York to New Jersey or wherever from whatever to get into New York is already $30 fucking. And then now they're going to do this. And even if you live in
$100 a day just to commute, this is what's going to happen though. Like they're going to I don't know. Is she trying to kill the city?
So let me finish this, and then I'll tell you what my thought is.
And 9 p.m. on weekdays, and 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on weekends. Fees.
The proposal aims to reduce traffic congestion, but people are mad because the city eliminated working from home that actually reduced traffic while saving gas money and reducing greenhouse emissions. But what do you think about this new bill? Is it going to help the environment or hurt the pockets of New Yorkers? And which city is next? The board has 2 meetings before the end of 2023 on December 6 and December 20. So if you think the fees are high, write in the comments below. And so it begins.
So my thought is, you know how they're trying to move everybody to the 15-minute cities, right?
Right.
How they're trying to get everybody to stop using their own transportation, correct? This is how it starts. This is how it starts. You have people who will no longer go into the city to work. You will have companies now take their business and go out and branch out to other towns. So now you got that 15-minute cities. So now no longer they're calling it a congestion tax. So people are not going to come into the cities anymore. Businesses will move their stuff all different places. And now you use public transportation. Now they're starting with the EV cars, correct? After the EV cars, you live in a 15-minute city. You can get anywhere in 15 minutes. You don't need cars.
Well, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Like, I don't care I got friends in New York. Most of them don't pay attention. Y'all voted for this shit. I get it. Kathy Hochul was put in there after, what's his name? Cuomo was ousted. Andrew Cuomo was ousted, which is incredibly insane because that dude killed off 15,000 old people, and Me Too is what brought him down. But anyway, y'all voted for this. Why should I care?
You're not wrong.
Honestly. Why should I care anymore about what happens in the area? You don't pay attention. You throw these people into office and you think they're doing such a good job until they fuck you in the ass, and somehow it's everybody else's fault because they're not voting for the people that fuck you in the ass.
But she fucked them in the ass throughout the whole fucking pandemic too, and she got voted in. That's what I don't understand. She was making people download these apps, and you got people pissed off not being able to go in certain neighborhoods and everything like that, high priority neighborhoods, and they still voted her ass in.
Wasn't it? Didn't she? Was it Mike Lee who ran against her? And he do that bad against her though.
No, he only lost by a couple percentage points, which showed that New York was turning more red. But I mean, once again, if everybody just it's kind of like middle America. New York is not just New York City. Kathy Hochul is the governor of New York, which includes New York State. New York State is this fucking big. New York City is this fucking big. And this right here is what votes for the entire thing. And that little New York City, those 5 boroughs, voted her ass back in. And it's just like you guys, and they'll do it again, and they'll fucking do it again. They'll do it again. Just like Murphy.
Well, it's funny though, because when is it Mike Adams or Scott Adams? I don't remember the mayor of New York City. What's his name?
Eric Adams.
Eric Adams. Mike Scott, whatever.
Scott Adams was the cartoonist.
Yeah. Who's Mike Adams?
I have no idea.
Anyway, so but the thing is that people don't remember is when Eric Adams ran for mayor of New York, he ran as like almost like a populist type thing. We're going to clean up the city. We're going to get rid of crime. that, like a crime fighter, ex-police officer, like that type of shit when he ran. And that's why he won. And when he got in, he was like, flip the script.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't need to remember, though, when it came
Well,
to the mayor race.
let's just remember that Eric Adams also said that he wanted his city to remain a sanctuary city, and then said the immigrants are destroying his city, and then all of a sudden the FBI raided him because somehow the country
Right.
of Turkey got him elected. We're just going to believe this? Like this is a thing?
Well, the government said it.
How stupid is that?
Listen, if you listen to the education director or whatever the fuck his name is, or whatever his title is, he said Ronald Reagan said the government when the government's here to help you. Ronald Reagan said we're the government and we're here to help you. That's what the Secretary of Education said. That's what the Secretary of Education said.
Never mind the fact that before that, Ronald Reagan said the 9 most dangerous words in American history are.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you.
Oh my God.
But like, I don't even want to care about, these places anymore.
I don't either, but it's what we talk about all the time on Business Party. It's like, it's the micro versus the macro. The micro is fuck New York. The macro is this is going to eventually go. Like I'm telling you right now, Kansas has cashless, cashless tolls, right? I don't know who the fuck voted for this. I don't remember it being on the ballot, but they have cashless. They have cashless tolls coming, and it's every 10 miles. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen with that? They're going to track your speed. And if you go between toll 1 and toll 2, and it's supposed to take you 10 minutes, and it takes you 7, they're going to know you're speeding, and they're going to send you a ticket. Who voted for this shit? So, like I said, it's the micro versus the macro.
City councils and shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's fuck New York, which I 1,000,000,000% agree. Fuck New York. But in the same time, they're going to bring that elsewhere, and they're going to bring that to other places, other big city. Kansas City is growing. Kansas City is the New York City of the Midwest. They are growing that out where I am now to be this like mecca of the Midwest. You've got California. You've got, which are probably going to do the same thing. You've got all these major cities in all these rural, California's not rural, but all these rural Midwestern, Southern, Dallas, Fort Worth, they will do the same thing there because they've got congestion up the fucking ass. So yes, fuck New York, but in the same time, it's going to come to a city near you. And that's when we're all going to get fucked. And that's why I say this is where the start of the 15-minute cities comes from, is they're going to condense everything down and they're going to start branching. Why do you think BlackRock's buying all this fucking land? Is so they can start doing these things. So yeah, fuck New York. But in the same token, it's coming to a town near you. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, look, they're trying to bring the FBI headquarters right to my backyard. Okay, so I have issues with that because every single one of us do. Yeah. Look, you don't want to bring the FBI and all that bullshit that the FBI is doing to the area where Director Ray says that everybody's is a domestic violent extremist, and you're going to look into these people and you're going to do these things to these. You don't want these good old boys to actually fucking get rowdy. All right?
Like what happened at Bundy Ranch?
You think that's bad?
I'm just saying now. I'm just giving an example.
You ain't seen what we do on a Saturday night in most places. All right? I mean, I almost went to jail in Kentucky one time because we threw a whole bunch of tires into a big chasm into the ground and threw like 55 gallons of gasoline down there and lit it on fire. And the entire county thought there was a plane crash because it shook everything. We didn't know there was a cave system under there, but it blew up And everybody's like, hey, plane crash, something happened. We came out of the woods and there's fire departments, there's cops everywhere. We're going to jail. We are going to jail because we threw tires in a chasm and lit it on fire to get rid of them. This is what we do. So if the FBI wants to come fuck around, it's going to be a thing. And you're going to see problems. You need to get rid of Director Ray. You need to fire every single person. You want to actually reform the FBI? Fine. You bring them here, but you get rid of every single fucking person and you hire locally. Because these people will actually do what the hell is needed to be done in the FBI.
That makes absolute complete sense. Now I know why he keeps saying the biggest threat is domestic terrorism.
Because threaten his job?
Yeah, well, no, not only that, because they know if they come there, they're gonna fuck around and find out. So they're sitting there trying to convince the entire United States that it's locally grown. So then, if something does happen, they go, "See, domestic terrorism."
It's because country boys can survive.
Oh, if you really want the South to rise again, that's how you actually fucking do it. All right.
Are we going to attempt the debate again?
I mean, we can, but I just want to mention. I just want to mention to y'all that when the whole George Floyd riots and everything popped off, they tried to do it in the city that they want to put the FBI headquarters in.
Mm-hmm.
The cops pushed them back to Big Spring Park. A dude threw a rock and the crowd beat the shit out of that dude and sent him to a hospital for a week. We don't play that dumb shit around here. So if you want to bring the FBI here for them to play that dumb shit around here, okay, fuck around and find out, because that's how you start the South from rising again, and that's how you start the Civil War off again. These people don't fuck around here.
But that lies what I've said is that the coasts think that they're the be all end all, and they don't understand the middle of America. That's why they keep going. Oh, it's just flyover country. It's just this. It's just that. It's those people. Why do their vote count as much as mine? You know, we're the most densely populated. You guys have no fucking idea. You have no idea what it's like living in the Midwest. I mean, it's a different beast out here, man. I was talking to a guy today. He still used the word. I was over there hanging out with a couple of the blacks, and I just looked at him like,
wait a minute, what? Hold on.
That's what this dude said. This dude was like, yeah, I was hanging out with a couple of the blacks, and I was like, and it's a different world out here, man, and people just don't have any idea. And he wasn't saying it like as a derogatory. It was just the way he said it. It wasn't a derogatory way or anything like that. But if you get somebody from the East Coast coming down here and they start talking to somebody, and all of a sudden the next thing you know, this guy will probably they'll try to get him canceled and fired and all this stuff like that. You know, and it's like he meant no ill will towards it. I guarantee you, this guy's got half of his friends are probably black people, and it's just like, well, what does that matter? He's still racist for saying it. My favorite video is that kid who's the black kid who's talking about picking cotton when they took him on a field trip. And he was just like, I didn't think it was racist. It was just how we grew up. Like, I just, all went and we picked cotton, and that's how it was. Now that I got older, I realized how fucking racist it is. But as a kid, I didn't know. We just all went and picked cotton. Like, I love that story. And the way he tells it with the Southern accent, it's one of the greatest viral videos I've ever seen. But it's a different way of living out here. They still got cars from the 60, the 50. What did I see? I swear to God, I saw the cars from Mr. Miyagi, the original Karate Kid. I saw it in somebody's fucking driveway. In the same pristine condition it was in the movie. They keep shit here, man. They like old shit, and if you want to come from the coast and try to fuck shit up, they're going to show you that they don't fuck around. You don't belong here, and they will let you fucking know. I will always be from Jersey, no matter what. No matter how long. Well, I got a Kansas ID. It don't matter. You're still from Jersey. You're not one of us. You're not from around here.
You still kind of have that accent too. So
I do.
It's a little thick.
Especially when especially when I get very animated and I start to get heated, it gets worse and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And they just like Amanda, she'll say woosah because it just starts to get thicker. As soon as she knows and I go into full soprano mode, that's when she goes woosah. And I go, okay, all right. But yeah.
I triggered his ass last week. It was fun.
Yeah, he did. I love the Midwest, but I want to retire in the middle of nowhere mountains. Yeah. There's still that's the thing. Like there's still I was looking in because we've been talking about places we want to go. Like I was looking out in Montana and stuff like that. You know how many acres on acres on acres there are that just not built on? Or just like it still has no roads by them. And it's just there's so much country out there if you want to live like that. But these people are gonna come in here and they did it to Topeka. I couldn't afford it. I started out my for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, beautiful house. Started at 17. It was 1,700 and change. And I just told them recently that I'm not going to renew my lease because it was $2,000 in 2 months, in 2 years. It jumped to $2,000. Yeah. And this dude's building house after house after. They just put up 6 houses behind me in 2 months, 2-3 months. And he's just, it's building and building and building and building. And there's people just keep coming and coming and coming. And out of maybe like 10 families that come, 8 or 9 stay from out of state. 2 will go back. And you just keep those numbers just keep coming and coming and coming, man. And it's not good. I don't like it. Everybody needs to just stay. If you want to vote for that shit, that Kathy Hochul shit, and that Chris Christie and the Murphy, stay there. Don't come out here and ruin this. Don't ruin this shit. Don't come out here, be locust, and ruin this shit. Stay there where you voted for what you voted for. But
they'll do it. They'll do it.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess we can try to listen a little bit more.
We went off the rail hard.
I mean, but listen. We go off the rails, but at least it's not nonsense, though.
Yeah. Every step of the way. You should not try to direct their war effort. We should work together with them so that they can bring Hamas to heel. Look, I served in Iraq back in the day. I'm the only one running for president that served in the military. I understand that part of the world. It's not the
Chris
best
Christie
part of the
served
world.
hoagies.
We do have troops there that Biden is leaving basically as sitting ducks. And you
gonna
have the
serve them to the
Iranians that
military,
are
but he ate 'em
attacking
all.
these troops, and he's responding with basically pinpricks. If you harm an American service member, you're going to have hell to pay when I'm president. We are not going to let our troops be sitting ducks. We also need to look at what's the underlying problem here. Iran. Biden is doing nothing to bring Iran to account. You got to turn the screws on them. Don't let them have any oil revenue. The money they get, they send to Hamas, they send to Hezbollah, and they foment jihad throughout the Middle East. So Biden has empowered Iran just like he's empowered other adversaries. We stand with Israel. They're our best ally in the Middle East. We have a unique relationship with them, and you will see a strong relationship when I'm the president of the United States.
Look, Polar Bear's on YouTube side.
This is the problem with
That's always run from a sinking ship, much like these people jumping from the state to state.
Your question
and then they bring it
very
back.
specific.
Yep.
You said, would you send American troops as commander in chief? And he went on to this minute and 30-second hosanna about his knowledge of the military and what we need to do. And
That's not nice. You shouldn't talk about Nikki Haley like that.
when you're president of the United States, you're not going to have a choice whether to answer that question or not.
He said hosanna, not ho.
Secretary of Defense, your Secretary of State,
well,
your
then he'd be
National
talking about the
Security
vice president of the United States right now, Kamala Harris.
Look at you and say, do we go or don't we, Mr. President? And you
I
can't
mean,
give
there's a
90
reason why
second
she's
speech
got that
about your
stretched out
military
neck.
service,
So
as
would
laudable as it
you
is.
Billy
send
Brown.
American troops in to
I
rescue those
would
hostages?
absolutely. If they had a plan which showed me that we could get them out safely, you're damn right I'd send the American Army in there to get our people home and get them home now. And I'll answer that question directly.
Thank you, Governor Christie. Mr. Ramaswamy, You have said it was irresponsible for Ambassador Haley to call Hamas's terrorist
Who's
rampage
that?
an attack on America.
I think she's from Telemundo.
Rabidly shout, "Finish them," end quote. The Hamas terror attack left dozens of Americans dead and was the deadliest attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Why wouldn't it be a good thing to finish Hamas?
Finish them was purposefully vague in a discussion that included Iran, which is what I objected to. And I think it's, as US president, you have to be responsible. What happened to Israel was dead wrong. What Hamas did was medieval. It was subhuman. It was immoral. And we have to call that out for what it is on October 7th. But to say that that was an attack on America fails a basic test. I mean, Nick, if you can't tell the difference between where Israel is and the
He
US
becomes
is on the map,
president. I
can
want to
have my
full
3-year-old
Bollywood
son
dance
show you the difference.
routine.
That is irresponsible because it has major consequences, because that doesn't leave room for what actually is an attack on America. So I believe I have the strongest pro-Israel position actually on the stage, even though it's a little bit different than the standard GOP talking points. And it is this. The founding vision of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, the George Washington figure of Israel, what did he believe? He believed that we don't want, as Israel, to depend on the fleeting sympathies of the West and have our hands tied. I think Israel has an absolute right to defend itself to the fullest, without the US, the UN, or the EU, or anybody else second-guessing their decisions, as the Biden administration, guess what, is now starting to do. I think that's a more deeply pro-Israel
Hey, he's got a
position
point.
than anybody else, and it keeps the actual lines of accountability clear because it is a pro-American position. And as leader of the United States of America, just as a father of 2 sons, my sole moral duty is to my family. As your next president, my sole moral duty is to you, the people of this country. That's how I'm going to lead. So I'll tell Bibi, you smoke the terrorists on your southern border, you go ahead and we're rooting for you. We're going to smoke the terrorists on our own southern border, and that's how I'm going to lead this country.
But Americans
Good
were killed in that attack. Americans were killed in that attack. And so if you looked at this terrorist attack and the number of Americans, this would be one of the top 10 terrorist
I'm sorry, but
attacks
what are
in
military
American
contractors
history.
for
So our own
then?
people
And
were
like,
killed
you
in that
know,
attack. And
you
I think
get
it's
sneaky people
absolutely
to go in there
appropriate
and
to point
just
that
get 'em
out
out.
and to say that we're in
Not
this
the
together
whole
and we are going to
brute
work
force
with
of the
Israel so that these
military.
people are brought to justice.
Honestly,
I
I'm
agree
going
with
to be
that.
honest with you. I don't think we should
Ambassador
have
Haley, I'm coming to you.
like military
Iran is
contractors
on
like
the threshold of
there
becoming a
was,
nuclear state. The Wall Street
mercenary.
Journal reported that
Best
Iranian
way to put it.
military leaders
We
gave
shouldn't be
the
having
green
that in
light for Hamas's attack on Israel. You said in last month's debate that by
Oh, no, I
contrast to
agree.
the Biden administration's approach to Iran, you would, quote, punch them once and punch them hard. Were you saying that it's time to bomb Iran?
No, I was not saying it's time to bomb Iran, but I will tell you, I dealt with Iran every day when I was at the United Nations, and they only respond to strength. What they don't respond to is when you weaken the sanctions like they did on Iran,
They
that
also
allowed
don't
China to
respond
send
to
them
women.
billions to fill their proxies. What they don't respond to is when you give $6 billion for 5 hostages. That only makes them want more hostages. What they don't respond to is when they do 140 strikes on our men and women in Syria and Iraq, and we do nothing but just some small shots back. You've got to punch them. You've got to punch them hard and let them know that. That's the only way they're going to respond. So the way you do that is you go after their infrastructure in Syria and Iraq where they're hitting our soldiers. That's what you do. And then that's when they'll back
Why
off.
are
The
soldiers
problem
over
is you have to see that all of these are related.
Because
If
Trump
you
said
look
to
at
pull
the
them
fact
out, and they said,
Russia was
sure, and then
losing
they
that
lied.
war with Ukraine. Putin had hit rock bottom. They had raised the draft age to 65. He was getting drones and missiles, drones from Iran, missiles from North Korea. And so what happened? When he hit rock bottom, all of a sudden, his other friend, Iran, Hamas goes and invades Israel and butchers those people on Putin's birthday. There is no one happier right now than Putin because all of the attention America had on Ukraine suddenly went to Israel. And that's what they were hoping
She's
is
not
going to
wrong.
happen. We need to make sure that we have full clarity that
I'll be right back.
there is a reason, again, that Taiwanese want to help Ukrainians because they know if Ukraine wins, China won't invade Taiwan. There's a reason the Ukrainians want to help Israelis because they know that if Iran wins, Russia wins. These are all connected. But what wins all of that is a strong America, not a weak America. And that's what Joe Biden's given us.
I want to say one thing about the tie to Ukraine, if I may. So foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home to know that I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, I mean, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you, that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her puppet masters right there, the donors right there that are playing like the puppet masters.
Enough. Let me just say something here. You know, his reasonable peace deal in Ukraine, he made it clear. Give them all the land they've already stolen. Promise Putin you'll never put Ukraine in Russia, and then trust Putin not to have a relationship with China.
Wait.
That's no
That's not my deal.
Give them all the land they already stole. Okay, number 1, that's called the spoils of war. Number 2, Ukraine has lost all that territory and has destroyed a lot of American armament and still hasn't regained shit. Maybe a few inches of that land. Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if Biden wasn't in office in the first damn place.
Well,
but let's go back beforehand and let everybody know exactly why that happened in the first place. Because the people of Ukraine in those areas, the Donbass region and everything like that, they were already wanting to be part of Russia. They had actually voted to be annexed into Russia because they had Russian heritage. Everything about them was Russian, but they were part of that. Ukraine started shelling their own citizens, saying things like, "Hey, you still want to be part of Russia? Because the more you talk about it, the more we're gonna shoot you with shit." That actually happened. So to sit there and say that he wouldn't attack anymore. What about in the last 4, 5, 6 months? Have we heard about Russia and Ukraine, the war about that? What has Russia done since they have secured that area? Only defend themselves. Because the only thing they wanted was a warm water fucking port, and the countries or the regions that actually voted to be annexed back into Russia, well, he's got. And he's stopped. So would he take all of Ukraine? Maybe, but I'm going to say absolutely not, because if he wanted to, he'd have already done it. Plain and simple. This dude right here is just completely fucking worthless. There's no point in him even being here. And there's actually no point in this debate because all of these people ain't going to be it. I mean, the whole DeSantis versus, what was his name? Newsom debate. Newsom even said there's no point in this because neither one of us are going to be presidential candidates for our party, or we're not going to be the presidential nominee for our party. And he's right. None of these people are either. There's no way.
Can we also point out the fact that back in April of, 2021, 2022, Putin offered a ceasefire and Boris Johnson went over to Ukraine and told Zelensky, no.
Yep, that happened.
4 months after it started, Putin said, okay, here's what I want, and we'll cease fire. Boris Johnson flew over to Ukraine and told Zelensky, don't you fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did it 3 other times after that. And he was told, no, don't do it. So, it could have been done and over with a long time ago. But they chose not
100%.
to. It's wake up, people. Fucking wake up. Wake up. This is just all smoke and mirrors. This is entirely all just smoke and mirrors.
And they think you're dumb.
Yeah.
every bit of them
Then,
do.
yes, it's exactly what you
I'll
said.
describe my
You do
deal
this
to
at
you.
every debate.
I'll tell you exactly
say,
what it
no,
is.
don't
I'll
interrupt
tell
me.
you
I
what the
didn't
deal is.
Look at
interrupt
him.
you.
Look at him. He got
Okay?
pissed.
You
Tell
say
them
this.
about how you
You
wanna
do
send our
this
kids to
at-
die.
You
Go
do
for it.
this at
Ramaswamy.
every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you out on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to
I'll
say
tell you
what?
exactly
no,
what I said, Chris.
I'm not
Finished.
done yet.
Well, this
Now
is
look.
This is
And
nonsense.
Oh no,
here's-
you've been done, sir.
This man is spewing nonsense.
Let me tell you something. This is the fourth debate. The fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So shut up for a little while.
I'm gonna respond to that.
I want to
Chris,
say
your
something.
version
No,
of
I
I
want
want
to
to
say.
We're gonna let you respond to that. Let him finish.
I want to say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate, and he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence, not her
I
position.
mean, I would insult her
basic
basic intelligence.
She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that his 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in the Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting
So
her.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take several.
You know what it is? Is Vivek is like, there's
first of
only
all,
one
I
Indian
think
that
we
can
just
be on
learned
this
something from
stage.
Chris
And he's
Christie.
trying to get her
We
out.
learned we learned three things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York.
Yeah.
So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal,
Yeah.
and get the hell out of this
Let-
race.
let me tell you.
When it comes to Nikki, I think if you're going to actually
my
send your
God.
sons and daughters to go
While
die
you
in somebody
weren't
else's
voting-
war,
Hold on.
you
you
better,
weren't
excuse
voting-
me, Chris, I'm speaking, and I'm not done yet.
I haven't
you had your
heard the
chance,
time when you aren't
and we're going to be
speaking.
done. So listen up to this: is if these people want to send your
God, I'm
sons and
getting
daughters to go die,
anxiety.
Ding, 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 ding.
they've been arguing for it for a year. $200 billion of our taxpayer money sent over. Neither of them could even name for you the provinces that they actually want to protect. And this is the people who have been touting their so-called foreign policy experience. It is intellectual fraud. These people are lying to you, the same people who told you about weapons and mass destruction in Iraq to justify that invasion didn't know the first thing about it, yet they sent thousands of our sons and daughters to go die. The same people who told you the same in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is still in charge 20 years later. $7 trillion of our national debt due to
Get
these
it.
toxic neocons. You can put lipstick on a Dick Cheney, it is still a fascist neocon.
Thank
and
you,
you gotta
Mr.
see that
Ramaswamy.
today.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
Dick Cheney
Ramaswamy.
all over again in this party.
Thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
15 seconds.
Name the provinces. Neither of you could even
Mr.
name the first thing about
Ramaswamy,
Eastern
thank you.
Europe.
I think we've had enough of this.
Think about that.
Let me just.
It's actually Crimea is the wrong answer.
All right.
The floor is Christie's.
All right.
Oh my
Let
God.
me just say You know, this
This
is
is
the
giving
kind
me
of thing
anxiety.
where he talks about experience. You know,
Closer to
I
Fight
was
Club.
a U.S. attorney in New Jersey when the terrorist attacks were launched against the United
Never
States
mind.
in
I was going to say something
2001.
bad.
I brought the first two
Hey,
cases in this
fuck it.
country against terrorists who tried to attack.
The floor is yours.
No.
Come on.
What are they going to make the soap out of? Chris Christie's fat.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I mean, you got about
I
5
couldn't.
years worth there.
I felt bad. That's why I didn't say it.
Why do you feel bad about making
And
fun
I
of the
know-
same people who think you're so stupid that you don't
Yeah.
understand what they're saying?
That's very true. Fuck them.
Why do you feel
Thank
bad
you.
about these people who think you are so damn stupid that you're going to vote for them any fucking way, even though they still think they can beat Trump?
And Chris Christie was pissed off because he didn't get a cabinet position in Trump's administration. That's why he's up here right now saying, "Oh, Trump's a
and Trump-
blowhard."
And Trump made fun of him. Like
Yeah.
Vivek did. Vivek insulted him, and then he's just like, "Brrr." That's exactly what he just did for the same thing for Trump. It's fucking
Yeah.
pathetic.
Like, it really does give me anxiety sometimes watching this shit. I'm telling you.
I love
I
it.
don't understand
I
why.
love it. I love it. Fuck
Sitting
them.
here, eat my trail mix. Like,
Fuck them all.
ooh.
Fuck them all. Let them. Let them Let them all yell at each other and scream. This is what the debate should be. This is what it should be. People should be able to see what they're truly like, not the stupid, like, thank God Mike Pence is gone. When we get in there and we show Palestine and the people of Palestine are great people, but Hamas is the bad people, and we have to take out the bad people, but don't mix up the good people with the bad people, because sometimes when you mix up the good with the bad people, you get the bad people who turn into the good people, but the good people don't. Mike, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. This is what we need. This is what we need. This is what it is. This is what it is. You don't even know. Listen, they don't. I guarantee you they can't even name, like you said, 3 fucking provinces that are in Ukraine that have been taken over by Russia. And they're okay with sending $200 billion over there.
But see, I would actually argue we kind of don't need this shit as far as that goes. And I would just rather see a debate about policy and instead of a debate about insults.
You're stupid.
Because this is what it is. This is just playground bullshit, and everybody just eats this kind of shit up. I'm sorry. I want to know what you're going to do for me, not how Chris Christie's so fucking fat that the Michelin Man looks fucking skinny, or the Pillsbury Doughboy has nothing on him. I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear what you're going to do for me.
But I like Desperate Housewives.
Well, then watch Desperate Housewives.
Davey and I are all about the drama.
But I miss the Kardashians, and this is just the Kardashian politics, and they have control of our money. Come on. You're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. We should be hearing the policies and what they're going to do, but it's I don't know, man. It's a double-edged sword, because when you ask them real questions, they don't fucking answer it. They won't fucking
They do what Gavin Newsom did the whole time in the debate that he had with Ron DeSantis. But you know what? Richard brought up a good point, because I'm thinking, I was like, what policy did anybody bring up?
Nothing.
Nothing. And it's true, nothing.
Even if they answer a question, it's just like dancing around this. We need to do this. We need to do that. Okay, so how are we going to do that? No, you figure it out for me.
She's Dick Cheney with lipstick.
I mean, I would, for once, I would love, this is why I would love to hear Trump and Vivek debate.
Yeah.
Because it would probably, I guarantee you, Vivek would probably shut down Trump's attacks, because Trump would probably insult him a little bit, and he'd probably be like, look, I respect the fuck out of you. Let's not go down this road. Let's actually talk about these things. Let's figure this shit out. And then you would hear a real debate. You would hear like, holy shit, this dude's actually got a good idea, instead of, oh, let's just slam this person on the stage. And how the fuck do you think we've had all these presidents? How the fuck do you think we get all these elected officials in here in these hearings time and time and time again? Because of this shit. You don't hear what they got to really say. You don't hear what they think. You don't hear what they go after. You hear the person that makes the best insult wins.
I love
Is this how we're gonna go after our elected officials from here on out? Because I want the fuck out of the country if that's so.
I love Chris Christie's face right now.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Go fuck yourself, Christy.
This is the best reality show I've ever seen. People will eat anything you put in front of them. Yep.
I just for
threat of terrorism and bullying in this country and around the world. And at that time, he was learning about
terrorism and you've been bullying everybody on the stage. Go ahead.
The provinces in Ukraine, sitting with his smart ass mouth at Harvard. That's what was going on. And so the fact of the matter is, and back then he was a Democrat. So, the fact is that all he knows how to do.
You're busy hugging
all
Barack
he knows
Obama,
how
getting
to
him
do.
Thank you.
All he knows how to do is insult the good people who have committed their lives to public service and not say anything that moves the ball down the field for the United States.
All right, thank you, Governor Christie. We are going to take
You haven't said anything that does that either, sir.
When we come back, we're going to tackle issues on the southern border. We'll be back in a few minutes.
It's funny that he said like these people had dedicated their lives to public service, when biggest criticism is that a lot of the people who have been dedicating their life to public service start out with nothing and then become freaking millionaires.
Mhm.
And that was what Vivek was just talking about with Nikki Haley after she left the UN.
Yeah. I just I can't. I really can't with these people anymore. It's like, I get attacks all online all the time about, oh, you're just a maggot. All right, motherfucker. I openly hate the dude. I will say it time and time and time again. But the fact that you don't even know that this shit happens, and you have the ability to vote on the people that make the laws that tell me how to live my life, that's frightening. I mean, it is incredibly scary to me that these people are allowed to have a say in your life who don't even know half of this shit. Like, literally, they don't. These people, they were just talking about, well, they weren't talking about it, but we brought it up with the whole, the Jasmine Crockett thing, like with the E. Jean Carroll thing. There are too many people out there that don't understand that the judge told Joe Tacopina, his lawyer, to move on, that he can't make any points. He's effectively said you cannot defend your client. So how the fuck can you be found innocent if your lawyer cannot defend you?
And it was a civil case, not a criminal case. Right?
Yeah. Well, E. Jean Carroll also worked to have the law changed just so she could bring that fucking lawsuit against him.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
These people
everyone
don't know
was
this
glad
shit.
to gladly help to do that.
These people don't know that Michael Cohen lied on fucking stand and Engoron let him do it.
Yeah. What I don't get is like, he hasn't been in office in like 3 years. Why?
Everything's
What
still
is it
Trump's
about this
fault
man
because
that gets their panties all up in a twist and makes them
Because
go freaking insane?
for what, 7-8 years now, they've been told, well, he's a threat to democracy. He's a dictator. I'm sorry. What has Biden been doing this entire time? What about anything in this administration has been democratic at all?
Well, I like how they're bringing that narrative back around again. You got they're throwing out Hillary, her little pantsuit and ass out there talking about how he's Hitler again, and they're doing this whole thing. Oh, he's gonna be a dictator the first day that he gets into office, like all this stuff.
And
I was
I'm
like,
fucking here for it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Schedule
Every
F,
last
baby.
when he was just like, I'm going to get rid of everybody that I can. Let's restart the whole thing. Let's fucking do it because we've been advocating for that shit forever. Let's fucking go. Oh, he's going to get rid of these people. He's going to be a dictator. You've been doing that from the fucking start. I mean, the Senate just confirmed 3 fucking judges, 2 in New York. But we will actually talk about this tomorrow, Davey. 2 of them in New York. In those 2, one of them said that only straight white people need to go to jail. Paraphrasing. The other one was so damn light on pedophiles and said that she wakes up hating conservatives. You're fucked, New York.
Yeah.
Welcome to the fucking party. I mean, I'm ready for it. Just get rid of them all. And the whole Supreme Court, well, we're going to pack the court. We're going to pack the court. What about that is democratic at all? The Supreme Court isn't even elected by the people. They're nominated by the people that we elect. What about that is democratic at all?
That's part of the Republic part.
I'm so.
Saying.
We need some voter reform. We really need some voter reform. Like I said, if you can't tell me the name of a person and put that name to a face and put that name and face to at least one policy that they represent, you shouldn't be having a vote on my life at all. History doesn't repeat itself, but instead it's a cycle. It's the only way to break it is to learn from it.
We'll never learn from it. We'll never learn from it. I heard something today that was saying that they were talking about and you know and people keep going, why do you compare this to Germany? Why are you comparing things to Hitler? Because the way things are going, the way things have been going, it's very reminiscent. There's a lot of things that were done back then. Just because 6 million people aren't being incinerated doesn't mean that the principles of what happened back then aren't happening now. They keep saying the way that the people they turn against the Jewish people is because they degrade them and dehumanize them. And that's what they're doing to people. That's what they've been doing to people. That's what they try to do with the whole fucking pandemic. They dehumanize people. If you didn't get the shot, you were the baddie. You were the bad person. They're continually doing this. They did it back then with cancel culture. If you weren't funding the war effort, you weren't helping out with the war effort, you were a Jew lover. And they canceled you. And that is what they're doing right now. If you don't like XYZ, if you don't like the Alphabet Mafia, then you're against the Alphabet Mafia. And they will extradite you from it. It is not the whole, it's not the, like I said, it's the principle of what's going on. It's not the whole, everything that's the same, but the principles that are going into what's going on right now are the same ones that happened back then.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Mama J?
the whole socialism. It's never been done right, but we can do it right now. That's why it's called democratic socialism now, because it'll be done better this time. I mean, we'll still have gulags and shit and kill people, but it'll be better.
Yeah, because they haven't been making them since the pandemic, right? They haven't been making camps. They're not. Chicago is about to make a giant immigrant camp, funded by the taxpayer, by the way. They're about to make immigrant camps.
2 of them.
For illegal immigrants who can't be housed anymore. So they're going to take illegal immigrants and put them in fucking camps.
Yeah. But, Trump put kids in cages, so,
Who built the cages?
Did Obama build? And continue.
We have
Well, he
AOC crying in front of empty parking lots about it.
And he took all these kids, and they don't know where these kids are. Yeah, they still don't know where the kids. They still don't know where the kids are now. But nobody's talking about it.
No, we're told just because you can't find them, just because we don't know where they are, doesn't mean they're missing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you don't know where they are. You can't get them on the phone. You can't talk to them, but they're not missing. What the fuck does that even mean?
No, don't worry. They'll show up for their court date in 2030.
Guys, you are forgetting the whole point. Joe Biden is nicer to these people than Trump was. Joe Biden is asking the people, please, can you stay in the cages? Where Trump was just telling them, get in the fucking cage. But Joe Biden is saying, guys, please go in the cage because that's where we have all the food for you.
All right, so I have to go. I was thinking about this today. Everyone up in arms, 2016, Trump won, type of thing. And then 2020, when Biden gets in, the first thing he does, he gets rid of like a bunch of Trump's like vetoes and things like that, especially when it comes to like the border and everything. And I remember back like before 2020, like me, Scott, and Jack would talk about, Agenda 2030, all these different types of things. And it felt like when Trump got in, everything was on pause because he wasn't supposed to get in. It was supposed to be Hillary so she could slowly implement the different things that were going on so the frog wouldn't realize it was being boiled. And what happened is the second that Biden came in, they're like, oh, we got to speed this up real quick because we lost 4 years. That's why when the second that Biden, I remember like when the first 3 months that Biden was in, I was like, did we just press fast forward or something? Because a lot of shit is happening and everyone's like head is spinning.
And the problem is that they did a magic trick though. They did a magic trick. They sat here and told you Trump is bad. This is how bad Trump is. And then they forced all this shit in. They forced all this onto us. They forced
then said it was
now
Trump's
the emissions. Yeah.
Right.
Now
Well,
all
and
this
that's what
emissions
they did.
and all
It's
this
like
stuff.
everything that they said that Trump did that was bad, and then they got rid of, right? And everyone's like, yeah, you got rid of that bad man. Ooh, orange man bad. And then they got rid of all of the stuff that he did. And then everyone's like, but I don't understand where I am right now.
Yeah, because it's Trump's fault, ladies and gentlemen. He's still fighting what Trump did. This man was there for 4 years, and we're still trying to fix what he did for 4 years.
4 fucking years, okay? And not to mention the first 2 years that he was in, he had fucking Paul Ryan as the Speaker of the fucking House, and they couldn't do anything. So I don't understand when people are like, "Oh my god, he did so much."
Is she on this side for you?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, she's not. For me, she's on this side. No, you're absolutely right. You are 1,000% correct. Everybody forgets. None of them wanted him in. Neither side. So when people go, well, the Republicans had the House and everything for the first 2 years, they didn't fucking want him in there.
No,
they didn't want him.
Got done. That's why he had to sign so many fucking EOs in the first 2 years.
Yeah, they didn't
and then
want
Biden
him.
goes off and doubles that within his first 100 days, and everybody's like, "This is fine."
Yeah,
this is normal. But it's just getting rid of Trump's shit, and then
Yeah. For every one thing Trump got rid of, he added 17 of them, and then got rid of one. It was just like when every time something came out about the Hunter Biden laptop that they knew about for fucking since 2018. Every time something came out about the Hunter Biden laptop, Trump got a new new case brought against him. It was literally day for day.
Yeah.
So it's like
the last one, it was within hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was within hours. They dropped that FBI FBI transcript, and then 2 hours later, hey, check this out. There was a leak about a new indictment that's happening, and everybody's like, oh shit, get it out.
Yeah.
Within hours.
Somebody actually had the fucking balls. I don't even think it's balls. The stupidity, the fucking utter stupidity to argue with me to say that it was okay for Joe Biden to share a fucking bank account with his son while he was the vice president of the United States of America, because he was only the vice president and not the president.
Look, people sit there and say just because loan repayment was written on that check that it's okay because it was for a loan repayment. All right,
The
so
guy's 50.
I'm sorry.
His student loans? What loan?
If I contract Davey here to go kill somebody, and then I pay Mama J for it, she writes a check to Davey and puts a loan repayment. No crime was committed?
Yeah, apparently. I mean,
seriously, this is what we're gonna do with this whole thing?
It's the whole, and that riddle where I put 10, you put 20, I pay you 40 for the 30, and somehow we make out. That's the whole. That's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. But you don't realize
nobody can explain where the money's coming from and for what. Yeah, that's cool.
The vice president, the now president's son, sold a painting for $500,000. The guy's not even a fucking artist. He sold a painting for $500,000, and you want me to be like, oh, okay.
Well, what they didn't tell you is actually made out of Parmesan cheese. So
and hooker ass juice.
Edible art.
I love the fact that Moskowitz actually went after Comer, because he put in that whole subpoena to find out how he gave his brother money for buying a house, because the house, his parents died, and the house, his brother didn't want to deal with it, so he paid his brother for the house. There's actually documents that he dropped on Twitter about it, and somehow we're just going to subpoena him, but all this shit now with Trump and everything, and like, all right, this is the biggest thing for me. Like, people want to bring up the Jared Kushner thing with Saudi Arabia for $2 billion. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you more pissed about one dude selling out the country for $2 billion? Or would you be pissed about an entire family selling out the country for a decade or more for pennies on the fucking dollar?
Yeah.
I'd be
And
more pissed at
continuing
the
to
whole
do it.
decade for pennies. But that's just me.
It's the same. It's the same people who are mad at Trump for 4 years for the entire American legacy
History.
in 4 years.
Yeah. Even though that everyone around the world was like, we love Trump, and all the leaders hated him.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Remember? Trump don't trust China. China asshole.
Hillary's bathwater.
Hillary's bathwater.
It's.
Can we not
What?
that?
Why did the image of what is it? The green like ghost juice came to my head from like remember as a kid when they would sell like the green
Ecto Cooler?
Ghostbuster juice.
The Ecto
Yes,
Cooler
the
from
Ecto
IC?
Cooler.
I just think of the
came to my
fucking.
head.
I just think of the
When I
tub
watched
lady from
that.
The Shining. That's all I think about.
I don't remember that.
You remember the lady who comes out of the bathtub in the movie The Shining?
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
That's all I think about. All right, should we just continue? We're at 2:30. Should we call it a night, folks? I think we've pretty much
we
done
didn't
it.
even pull off a debate or anything. We just sat here and bullshitted.
But I think listen, listen. It's so much better. It's so much fucking better that we actually inform the people all the bullshit nonsense that they probably have no idea about. You know?
Here's the part. I want to get your predictions, I guess, or ideas of what it's going to look like in the next, let's just say 6 months. I don't want to go too far ahead because I mean, what is this landscape going to look like when it comes to debates and everything? Because this is just getting pathetic.
Are they even gonna debate? That's the whole thing. They're doing this debate.
Democratic
Trump's not even.
Party's not.
Yeah.
Right. Like if they get it down to like, I don't know, 2 people, is Trump going to show his face? Like he has to at some point, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is
What is
all.
the
This is all. To be honest with you, this is all for ad revenue. That's all this is. That's all. This is all for ad revenue, because they had the time already built in, and they said, "Well, we sold spots on this. We have to do something with it. Let's get these people up here." Trump's not going to show up. This is for naught. This is absolutely for naught. Trump's not going to come and debate any of them. He's going to say, I've got 60%. There's no way anybody's going to beat me. I'm not going to debate. And that's all. And everybody's going to go, okay.
So then what? Where's all this money going?
It's going to be all out brawl.
On the stage, Chris Christie like sitting on Ramaswamy's head. Say uncle.
Nikki Haley body slams people. That'd be funny. I would watch that.
Dude, her mouth just bothers the like she can't her mouth. She just sits there and talks like this, and she can't. And fucking Cro-Magnon fucking man from Florida. None of them. None of them
Not
are
a natural like you know how like they tell people all the time like he has resting bitch face. I think that's the problem, is that they called him out for having RBF, and he's like, I have to fix that. So like putting like Vaseline on his teeth to just keep him smiling the whole time, but it makes him look creepy, and they don't know how to remedy his RBF.
No, as soon as the whole boots thing started, that son of a bitch should have just came out with that song, "These Boots Are Made for Walking," at a debate.
I know, and that should have
He
been.
should have fucking owned
walks
that.
out to stuff. Yeah, man. And then he
He
comes
should've
out on
just-
stilts and like, has boots on and they pull off one boot and they see that he's on stilts and he's like, hey guys, look at me. Make fun of it.
But instead, you
Yeah,
got his
wow.
people sitting there attacking people that are actually would have voted for him, or had maybe he is something. His people are out there attacking other people, being like, he had that debate with Newsom, and everybody's like, "But did you listen to what he said?" Hi. What was the whole point of that? Number one. Number two,
Right.
what he says and what he does are completely different fucking things. Everybody does that. So why would I listen to somebody who, number one, I have no fucking qualms about anymore? Because, well, let's just be honest, the dude's fucking putting out that was AI images with Trump and Fauci.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We fight fake news every fucking day, and you're just adding to it? No,
Yep.
sir.
Right.
Absolutely damn
Right.
not. And then he put out that whole little thing with his face, the spinning Sonnenrad on it, and troops marching towards it. No, that's Nazi symbolism. And you think that's okay? Like, we're gonna vote for that shit? No. Sorry.
This AI stuff is going to be real fucking bad. It's going to be really fucking bad because not for nothing, I saw a fucking TikTok where it sounds like Biden, Trump, and Obama are having a phone conversation, and it sounds a little fucking AI-ish. But you got these dumb motherfuckers who would absolutely think it was a real conversation between the three of them.
Yeah.
And if you just have a normal conversation between two people instead of, yeah, Joe, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, I told you not to call me. I told you, Joe, he doesn't fucking like you. Like, if you just have a normal conversation between two people, you will not be able to tell if it's real or not. You will not be if you can hear Donald Trump drop the N-word and people will believe it. You want your proof that he's racist?
We've been
Here it is.
waiting for that tape for how long? Yeah. Eric,
Yeah. That's enough.
Was it Swalwell or was it a pencil next?
I think it was
ship?
Swalwell.
Yeah, it was Swalwell.
It was. But
One of them. I think no.
It
I
was
think
the
it was
Chinese
Chip said
fucker.
that. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, thank that.
But it's gonna.
Who's the one that called her yum yum? That was so.
That was Nels.
Was it Comer?
Nels did that. No, that was Representative Nels. He called
Okay.
called her yum yum, and I
Called
was
her
like, "Who the
yum
fuck is
yum.
yum yum?" Because it's
And
Fang
he-
Fang.
and- wait, hold on. What did Eric Swalwell said? He said something like, "I can't believe this shit" or something.
No, he's like, no, you can't say that shit. You can't say that shit.
Yeah.
Strike it from the record. He cried about that shit. He cried because somebody brought it the fuck
didn't
up.
she apparently die in a plane crash or something?
No, not apparently. Well, yeah, you're apparently, yeah.
Well, okay, so here's the deal with that. Okay, this is all found out like 2013, 2014. He's sleeping with the Chinese spy. In 2015, Nancy Pelosi is told about this. And in 2015, she flees the country in the middle of the night on a commercial flight. How a Chinese spy gets away on a commercial flight, you figure that shit out. But this comes back, what, 6 years later or 5 years later after that. And then 6 years later, somehow a commercial flight in China mysteriously just drops from the sky. And they're like, no, this happens all the time in China. It happens all the time. Nope, came out that was personally purposely downed. Like they purposely crashed that.
Like,
The
yeah,
only person on that flight that was ever mentioned, that was ever named, was Fang Fang. Body still has yet to be recovered. Is she dead?
No.
Of course not, because she's a spy.
She
They just
goes by
recycle.
Yum Yum now. Hello.
Yeah,
That shit was-
it's I don't know, man. I don't see any of this going in a good direction.
Yeah,
None of this.
and the reason why that whole yum yum thing came about was because Swalwell was actually attacking a woman for being in DC in January 6th and it had nothing to do with any of that because it was about what was the hearing about?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, it was about child
Hasn't-
trafficking.
Yep.
He went after her for January 6th.
Yeah, he was asking her, "Weren't you?"
She wasn't even anywhere near the Capitol that day.
He was questioning. Was it a tweet that she had, or she was for something? And he went on and he was like, "Weren't you this and weren't you that? And didn't you say this was good and this was good?" And she was like, "That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for human trafficking." No. But you said this.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you said this and you
know,
said that.
sometimes I would just be like, maybe they're just dumb. They're just dumb. Like I just gave them that grace for a very long time, and no grace can be given no more. They're not just they're evil.
Yeah,
it's evil.
they're absolutely evil.
Well, they
And
are. They are actually really mentally retarded. It does make me wonder if they were tested, would they be able to pass? And the question or the
mean-
answer to that is absolutely not. But no, this is maliciously done.
You know how you have
And-
outliers and stuff, and you have bell
Yeah.
curves, and they just kind of let Fetterman in, even though that he was on the low end of the bell curve of their mental illness.
I mean, let's just be honest. Jamal Bowman's, him touting that he was a middle school principal. Yeah, and then it came out later on that while he was a principal in the school district or in his own school, that like what was it? 25% of the people were proficient at math, and only a third of them were proficient at reading at their grade level. He was touting how he's such a badass principal. I'm sorry. Nope.
Well, do you know that's how it is at what is it, LeBron James's school?
Yeah.
Like it came out like nobody is proficient in their grade level.
Oh.
In math or reading. That came out like 3 or 4 months ago. Insane. Sorry, I totally interrupted you in the middle of what you're saying.
You good. But yeah, it's just like, but dude, we put these people in here because these are the only ones that are willing to. The people we need in office are the people who won't fucking take it. They refuse to even try to run. And those are the people that we need. We need to force them in there and just be like, "No, you're doing it. We're voting for you no matter what. We're writing your name in the fucking ballot. Let's do it."
Well, I mean, they want to keep their souls intact. That's probably why.
But if you had people that were actually worth a damn in office and continue to put people that are actually worth a damn in office, things would get
Right.
fixed.
Well, and that's the biggest problem because the people that are worth a damn that are in office, they're screaming into the ether and no one's there helping them.
Mhm.
So it's just it sucks.
It does.
But,
Yeah, I guess when Davey gets back, I guess we can. There he is.
There we go.
Sorry, I completely forgot. So we got Google Fiber, and they gave us an extender, and Amanda was telling me that I've been choppy this entire time, and I forgot. I spoke to the gentleman this morning. He goes, "Yeah, you could just plug the extender into the back of your CPU, and you won't have a problem." And I was just thinking, I was like,
So dirty.
I forgot to put. Oh yeah, put it, stick it in your extender. And I just did it right now, and I'm like, of course we're ending, and I'm like, I thought about it now. Always happens. Oh, that's the way it always happens. I'm like, oh yeah.
All right, so I guess we can just go ahead and finish this. There's no point in these debates. We all know how this is going to play out. The only thing I want to know is who's the Democratic nominee? Who's going to be Democrat? Because we know damn well it ain't going to be Biden. Please put Biden up there. Y'all know you can't do that shit.
I don't
We
know.
all know the Republican's
I
going to be Trump.
think they might run Hills again.
No, no, I don't. If anything, it's going to be Newsom or Kamala.
I don't think so. I think because who's going to be the VP then? Who's going to run with them as VP? Because it's not usual for two people from the same state to run as president and vice president. So they're just going to, Newsom's going to run for president, and then who's going to be his VP? What are they going to do to Kamala?
Well, it doesn't matter because look at LaFonda Butler. I mean, she was literally living in Maryland, and then Gavin Newsom, when Dianne Feinstein died, Gavin Newsom's like, "Hey, move to
Yeah.
California." 30 days later, she's taking Feinstein's place. It doesn't matter anymore. These people don't play by the rules.
Right.
They don't care about the rules.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah. They
Maybe
don't.
they'll try to get Hakeem Jeffries in there somewhere.
Please, why
When
would
people
you
wanna
even
holler
speak
for
that?
Obama.
Why would you even speak that into the ethos?
Because
Why?
I keep every time we talk about it, everyone's yelling his name the 50,570 whatever times when they're doing the speaker votes, and they'd be like, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, yeah, every fucking time.
Oh yeah, that shit was ridiculous. How
To the
they
moon, duh.
I mean, I can understand some of the clapping and everything like that. You know, like how McCarthy, who was actually the speaker, was the speaker, voted for somebody else. Yeah, okay, good. But why the fuck are you gonna clap for Pelosi voting? That's like
They're probably just happy that it came out like audibly, and she didn't slur.
Team
clapping because
Jeffries.
she wasn't drunk.
Good job, you did it.
Team
Clapping
Jeffries.
because she wasn't drunk.
Did you see the $25 ice cream I keep in my freezer? Did you see the ice cream?
Legibly, but that's like when you write, not when you speak. And I was like, okay.
It speaks like she's.
I don't know.
All right, folks. I think that's gonna do it for today. Thank you for joining us. Rich, where can the people find you?
Well, normally you can find me at Voice of the People. I stay on Rumble because got a strike for medical misinformation. What the fuck is happening?
You're bored.
No, that's not. I put one of the things on. I put music like a bed, and it's put gritty swell guitar. I forgot that Biz put some of his little things on here that he did.
Okay, because I just started hearing that and it fucked me up. But anyway, you can find me on Voice of the People, Rumble, and X. On X is Drunken Senpai 85. I stay there because fuck YouTube. Of course, you can find me with the Off Label Podcast with Davey here on Thursdays at 8:30. It is 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. We got some things we definitely need to get into this week. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And if you want to follow me, trust me. On X, I'm an asshole. On Rumble, we're going to hear a lot of really horrible shit coming from these people. Okay? But you need to listen to it. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Well, you can find me on X/Twitter at Suburban Mama 1. That's Suburban Mama the number 1. And then you can find me, Davey, and Jack on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific for Weekend Hangover. We're going to be talking about, what is it? Special
Britney Spears
Forces.
conservatorship.
Talk about a little bit about, Britney Spears' conservatorship. We talk more about pop culture type shit over there on the Weekend Hangover. But yeah, that's it. But,
You know what? Fuck, I forgot the little video thing this week. Shit. I'll have it next week.
Oh, yeah, you got to send that to me because I want to post it.
Okay. As soon as it's done. I forgot to do it this week. I was doing other things.
Because I want to send it. So the intro music to the Off the Podcast is it's so much fun. And I found the band that did it, and I want to send them the opening to it, and see if they'll help us make it into our own little thing. So yeah. But yeah, like Rich said, you can find me tomorrow night with him at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern on the Off Label Podcast. You can find you can find me on Twitter at MW Troublemaker, TikTok Troublemaker Davey, and all the links are in those bios. Yeah, and other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Am I missing anything? No. Well,
awkward.
On that note, don't forget, don't be a mainstream minion and fuck the moon. We're going to Uranus. I don't know where the end is. Where do I put what? Which one do we use?
Oh my God.